What day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, guess what today is?
Hump day!
It is hump day. We've been waiting for hump day.
We have
Thank
been?
God I have been. Duh. I'm trying to do a quick search here because I'm going to read you guys something off the top, which I think is...
Oh, I forgot to rumble.
I have not rumbled either. So we were number 6 yesterday, which was fine, which was great. Thank you.
Yes.
But Alan heard us saying he's our data cruncher. He's the insights guru. And he sent me a message this morning, well before dawn, that since he started crunching our numbers on June 12th of this year, we have never not been on the leaderboard. Isn't that interesting? That's because of you guys. It's because of you.
So we're coming up on 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So I want to tell you something. Brock and I had a very interesting conversation with Dr. Dubiak last night.
Yes.
We were going to do a live video, and then Dr. Dubiak shared with us our results, 37 pages of results from what we did.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
With this.
Right.
AIM print, is that what they're calling it?
Yes.
AIM print. BodybyAIM360.com. Look, it's $499. It's expensive. It is.
It tells you everything you need to know.
I'm just going to say, if you were, so for instance, for me, my impetus in getting this test was to find out if there are any precursors that I could find that would lead me to age unnecessarily poorly and be a burden on my children. Okay, let's just say that. And that's what I was worried about. Cognitively, how am I? How is my circadian rhythm? How are my this marker, that marker? How's my nutrition? How's my propensity to put on weight? How about taking SSRIs? You know how a lot of people gain weight when they take medications for anxiety and whatnot.
It would be me.
What's all of this stuff? All of it. It was mind-bending. And it's going to take us days to chew it over with you. But I'm just going to say, I've never heard of a do-it-at-home cheek swab, mouth swab. You don't have to go anywhere. You go to bodybyAIM360.com. You scan the QR code or whatever it is, or click the button and it comes up and it's like, do you want to do this? And you're like, yeah. And then you pay for it and they send it to you. 3 weeks. Let's just say 3 weeks, right? You have no idea how long it's going to, probably 3 weeks. And then you have to have a consultation with Dr. Dubiak because you won't be able to digest all of the results. It is the most incredible experience.
Can I say what impressed me the most about it? It goes into detail saying, you know what? You can run 3 miles a day. Doesn't matter. This is the type of exercise you need.
So there are some people out there who are like, I'm going to run 5 miles a day. I feel a little pudgy, and they can't move the needle. They're like, why am I not losing any weight? I'm killing myself over this. And it's like, well, actually, this genetic test tells you if that's the kind of exercise you need, or if it's, what's the other one called, Brock?
For
high intensity training.
Yes.
What I do twice a week, an hour. It's just like boom, 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 boom. It's free weights. It's all this. It's
He's like,
that's it. 2 hours a week.
He told me, and one of the reasons
like,
we ended up not going live was because he's like, there's so much. We'll be on this for how long? So like, let me run through it real quick with you guys first.
So we were like, so there's no way for us to just hit in 30 seconds. Here's what we got. But if you want to know about your mom and dad in you and what you're passing on to your children, this is crazy.
Yeah, I found out I can eat dairy, but I should stay away from the glutens and the breads and the...
Right. And then I found out that I have a propensity or an edge towards diabetes.
We both did, yeah.
I'm 120 pounds, 5'7". I'm like, isn't it weight related? Nope.
We both found out too that we have the drinking gene.
Yes. Well, I mean, duh.
Yeah,
like,
right.
But I mean, like, neither of us needed to know that we have alcoholism in our families. Are you predisposed to become one as well?
It's nice to know. Like
it gives you a range of color, red, yellow, green, and you get to read the roadmap.
I also found out something that I'm deficient in minerals because of my epilepsy.
Yeah.
Why didn't my neurologist ever tell me that?
Right? Body by aim360.com. Look, I'm the first to tell you, it is not a cheap thing to do. It's $499. It's extraordinarily cheap when you consider the value that you get out of it. Depends on where you are, and I'm not suggesting you should do it. I would, but...
And you have to do the consultation. There's no way.
No.
I wouldn't know what half that meant.
No. I look tired, and it told me something about that too.
Me too.
No, duh. You're tired.
Oh, what? Waking up at 2 a.m. is not normal?
It's hard.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. As always, common sense conservative values delivered by a mom. Right? That's what I am. I'm not a political operative. I don't have inside knowledge. I don't have a vast Rolodex. I'm not connected to Capitol Hill. I'm not talking to people who are there covering it in the media. But I do have an abundant supply of common sense. And we share it with you every day on this program. And I got to say, when you're out there paying attention to what the news is telling you, it's nice to find a place where you feel comfortable, where you feel understood, where your values come out across the airwaves and make sense. That is what this is. WendyBellRadio.com. That's the app. That's the everything. Follow us there. Join the live video stream. Just keep coming back. We got a great show today talking a lot of President Trump. Because if you're willing to listen to him between the lines, he tells you so much that the people who cannot stand him miss. And we're going to share that with you on today's program. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, you have to be a good listener in life. You have to be a good listener in order to be a good partner, in order to be a good worker, in order to be a good citizen, in order to be a good friend. It's extraordinarily important to be a good listener if your job is in the media. And it astonishes me how the blinders are up so much and the eye patches are on and the earmuffs are dug in. And the people who desperately want to, gotcha President Trump, who somehow managed to squirrel away a few minutes of his time, squander it. And they do not listen to what he says. You know, in the world of consistency, and this is a rub on a lot of women, right? What do men often say about women? We're difficult to follow. We change our minds. We get emotional. We move like the sea, in and out and up and down. And who do you have today? It's a valid criticism. It's part of who we are. Trump is a brick wall. He's been the same brick wall for 40 years. He has the same ideas. He has seen the same things. But now, as commander-in-chief, as president of the United States, he has the proof. He has the details. He has the inside knowledge. He has the records. He has the thumb drives. He's seen the video. He's read the transcripts. He knows it all. And still, the media don't listen to what he has to say. So there's another gentleman who's apparently written to the president because this gentleman, who was a high-ranking official in Venezuela several years back, wants the president to listen to him. And what he says he has is very important information about how the government of Venezuela has used the goons, the gangs, the thugs, the murderers, the kidnappers and rapists and pedophiles of Tren de Aragua to carry out his own personal militia-led objectives, and that is to stay in power, to get rich, to be involved in a vast money laundering network fueled by diamonds and gold and drugs. And how Venezuela, this gentleman who's in prison as a former high-ranking Venezuelan official for Hugo Chavez, not Nicolas Maduro, he's in prison right now in America because of his role with Hugo Chavez doing things this and that. He's written this letter to the president saying, look, Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, Tren de Aragua, all of this has been a part of your government for decades. They have infiltrated Congress. And now there are congressmen, possibly women, I would imagine, right now, who are working with Maduro to keep this vast money laundering network, drug cartel, human trafficking, what have you, alive. And I want to read you a little bit about this. The Dallas Express has obtained a second exclusive letter addressed to President Donald Trump from retired Major General Cliver Antonio Alcala Cordones. He's a former high-ranking commander in Venezuela's armed forces who served under Hugo Chavez, but claims he requested retirement, I guess, when Nicolas Maduro took power, because he was very clear that a criminal gang leader, he said, was taking power. A criminal gang leader. What did President Trump do not that recently? Or pretty recently? He declared Nicolas Maduro the leader of a criminal cartel, Cartel de los Sols. Now, this letter, dated December 8th, so 2 days ago, alleges that the country's ruling apparatus, and he's talking about Venezuela, commonly associated with the Cartel de los Sols, is controlled by two people, siblings, Jorge and Delcy Rodriguez, whom he calls the regime's real masterminds. So the Dallas Express prints out kind of a cheat sheet of what it is. I've read the article, I've read the letter, and this is what he says. He alleges that Cartel de los Sols is led by these two, Jorge and Delcy Rodriguez, not Maduro. He claims Maduro expanded the criminal gang Tren de Aragua and exported its operatives abroad, including into the United States. Where's Martha Raddatz when we need her to fact check JD Vance? They're not taking over every apartment building. I mean, it's just a couple. And JD's like, pal, did you hear what you just said? He claims Venezuelan officials used parallel Smartmatic-linked voting systems to alter election outcomes. Smartmatic, the same Smartmatic that is used here in the United States. And he alleges that the government of Venezuela can switch election results on those Smartmatic machines. He describes, I mean, that's scary as stones right there, right? Who's surprised? You surprised? Everybody's like, what? No, of course not. He describes deepened ties between Maduro, and Hezbollah, and Cuban intelligence. He says regime officials privately boasted about having influence over certain U.S. lawmakers. You think President Trump doesn't know who those people are? You're kidding yourself. He says he's willing to testify before U.S. authorities about drug trafficking, illegal mining, foreign intelligence operations, and alleged electoral manipulation. There is a reason President Trump on day one declared war on drugs. There is a reason they have been launching lethal kinetic strikes on these narco boats. There is a reason certain Democrats in Congress have stood up as the opposition. There is a reason this man who served 30 years in the Venezuelan military is reaching out to President Trump now. There is what? A virtual float. There is an arsenal. What do you call a gaggle of ships? I don't even know. There are 11 ships parked outside Nicolas Maduro's house right now. The airspace is black because Trump said, you know what? I probably wouldn't fly around Venezuela anytime soon. Message heard. There is a reason he is posturing, moving the chess pieces on the board and saying to Nicolas Maduro, you'll have one opportunity and it ends very soon. Take it or leave it. President Trump said all of this last night in an interview with Politico. And the news babe talking to him didn't hear a word of it. You will today. You will. Because none of this stuff, from the Somalians in Minnesota to the Somalians in Maine to the Democrats in Chicago, in California, in D.C., running scared and fighting back against Donald Trump's cleanup of the United States of America. It tells you everything, and it is all connected. Something's going on, and it's going to be big, and it needs to be done, and the Democrats are freaking out. Good. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, so as the Democrats allow Somalians to steal billions from taxpayers so that their communities will vote for them in perpetuity, right? Will Kane sits down with Liz Collin, Alpha News reporter, Minnesota rock star, to talk about this scandal and how it's gone back 8 years. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So when we switch in January and we need the hard outs, I'm going to have to hit it at 18.
No, we don't have to do anything.
We'll have to go over what is needed there.
I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. I don't either.
And the people that are pushing it or have pushed it want it for their convenience.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not my...
Yeah. Understood. Well, let me talk to you guys a little bit about the healthy fat. You know, it's interesting when Brock and I and Dr. Dubiak were going over these genetic markers and the results of this extensive, again, bodybyAIM360.com. It's amazing. I gleaned from my results, I'm doing all the right stuff, right? Do I probably drink a few too many beers on the weekend? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Do I drink too much coffee? Absolutely. Is my jam carbohydrates? Absolutely too. But I'm making enough of the right decisions that my results came back. What did he say, Brock?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
And I'm going to say...
You're going to age well, he said.
And I'm going to say the things that I've chosen to do, I'm sticking with. One of them is to drink the Healthy Fat by Dr. Gundry. This is his MCT Wellness. And the Healthy Fat is very unique in that it is delicious. It is easy. It's the quickest, cheapest thing you're going to do today. If you drink a bottle of water or a glass of water at any point during your day, why wouldn't you add a scoop of this and crush your cravings and quiet your appetite and use it as a meal supplement? So maybe skip breakfast, skip lunch, even depending on your schedule, skip dinner, and drink this instead and watch what happens to your body. Dr. Gundry did, and he lost 70 pounds. Does it happen in a month? No. Is it probably going to take you 4, 5, 6 months? Probably. Delicious. It's non-invasive and it works. And I'm just going to say, it's one of the tools in my repertoire that I'm not going to stop. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It's a nice discount there right now for you. Try it. I'm a huge fan of the blueberry, but I'm going to say you're not going to go wrong with any of the flavors. They're all delicious. And you know what? They've got that sweet, kind of like a sweet sour where you're like,
I think I'm going to have to start drinking that once a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll get in touch.
I need to lay off the sugars.
Uh-huh.
And that would.
What kind of sugars do you have though? You're not really.
If there's an Oreo sitting around, I'll eat it.
Oh, well.
But like I crave it.
Oh, you crave it?
Yes.
Okay, I don't crave
That's
it.
what he told me from that test. He's like, I can tell you crave sugars.
He said that to me too. And I'm like, I don't. I just want butter, bread, meat,
give me everything
cheese,
else.
And beer.
I can eat cheese. That's the
his memory. Don't doubt the well from which he dips down and gets knowledge. In fact, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to think seriously about this, okay? When has President Trump been wrong? Think about that critically. When has he been wrong? When he said something and the media laughed at him and Democrats were like, oh, and then lo and behold, it's true. Why are we doubting the guy with a track record every gambler wishes he had? He's batting 1,000. And yet we're like, well, I don't know. I want you to hear this interview. Will Kane, he knocked it out of the park on his show yesterday. Like every single guest he had, I'm like, I'll take him. And I liked her. The news is heating up. People are beginning to peel back the curtain on what has been an allowed arrangement between Democrats and criminal illegal aliens. Come to our country. We'll give you everything on a silver platter. We'll let you steal from the people in our community. We'll let you rob blind social services meant for people in need who are Americans. If you and all of your 80,000 other Somalians or Haitians or whomever vote for us in perpetuity. It's that simple. How hard is that? That is what has been going on. And Liz Cullen, who has been phenomenal, we had her on the show. She's a great journalist. She's at Alpha News now. And she says, you know what? This whole thing with Minnesota, I know it's on everybody's mind now, but I can tell you this dates back to 2018. What?
Fry, Omar, Ellison. How deep does this go into politics?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, there is an overlap with plenty of Democrats in power in Minnesota with all of this. It was the spring of 2021 when the raids involved with the $250 million fraud scheme tied to Feeding Our Future was first exposed. Even before that, though, you're right. there was a suspected $100 million fraud tied to overbilling at dozens of Somali-owned daycare sites in Minnesota. That was making news back then. So the question of who knew what and when, you laid that out. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, she held several events at the restaurant named in the Feeding Our Future fraud, including hosting her congressional win in 2018 at that very restaurant. So she knew one of the owners very well. Salim Saeed is his name, who has since been convicted. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry's senior policy aide, Abdi Nur Salah, also entered a guilty plea. He was tied to the case. Campaign donations from some of the defendants in Feeding Our Future eventually returned, as you mentioned, to Jacob Fry, Attorney General Keith Ellison, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. But you're right, I sat down with the lead prosecutor in the case, Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson, talked to him months ago, and I asked him, will we see any of these political leaders indicted? At the time, he said he could not comment on future indictments, but even back then, the feds made it very clear that it seemed that these cases were still wide open. Now we're hearing about multiple social programs in Minnesota, and these investigations seem to be wide open at this case, and I think this federal spotlight certainly is helping at this moment.
All right, so it's worth noting that as she's sniffing around on this, the timeline for the whole Somali scandal in Minnesota was right when George Floyd hit. Should we think for a moment that the Democrats wouldn't use Derek Chauvin as a distraction to take the focus off of them and Somali fraud? Here's Liz Collin again. When you shake your magic 8-ball, Liz, is there an answer that appears suggesting the mayor and a sitting state senator and even the state AG didn't know about this outrageous fraud?
Okay, let's explore really quickly together, Liz, the questions of could and did. What I mean by that is we have audio of Keith Ellison. As you know, Keith Ellison having a conversation with many of the people involved in this program wherein he seems to be suggesting that he'll get into any type of investigators off their back. Like if there's any holdup in some of the money going to their programs that were fraudulent, he'll grease the wheels, he'll figure out how to keep it going. They were complaining that people were starting to step in and stop the flow of funds. And Ellison seemed to be saying, well, where? How? I'll figure it out. So the question is could and did. Could this have been to this scale without all of these politicians knowing about it? And did they know about it?
It seems at this point, Will, hard to believe that someone did not know about this. You have a state senator, Omar Fateh, celebrating the fact that the money kept flowing. You have a city council member in Minneapolis, also part of that celebration that was actually held. It's on video. There are recordings of that as well. And our reporting dates back years at this point, going over that celebration that took place. Unless none of these people, which I find it very hard to believe, are not talking to each other at all. And now you also have these whistleblowers that have come forward recently saying that they went to Governor Tim Walz 7 years ago when he first came into office, and they wanted to bring these red flags to his attention, and they say that they were met with silence. So we're seeing that now on Medicaid funding perhaps being cut if Walz doesn't take this more seriously, according to that letter that was sent from the federal government on Friday. But we have multi-billions of dollars in fraud in Minnesota. And again, this has been ongoing for years. So just on a personal level, I've been a reporter for 20 plus years now. At this point, I find it really hard to believe that someone at the top did not know something.
She doesn't want to say it. I'll say it. Of course they know. Of course they're in on it. Of course it happened under them. Of course, of course, of course. Period. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's dig even deeper into America's Somalia problem, because Maine, oh my, Maine, next. I don't know about you guys. I know Brock, when we made our challenge coins, for a long time, I would hear him like jingling them, men who like to jingle change in their pocket and whatnot. It's fun to have a couple challenge coins. I prefer just pure silver. I mean, I'm kind of a streamlined girl, right? I'm just like, you can keep all of your other stuff. Just give me the real silver. And so they're like, don't take it out of its little protective cases. And I was like, well, what's the fun of having silver then? So I'm going to open it up. Yes, it's just 2 little coins, right? How cute. Look at that. There's all sorts of stuff you can get from Wendy Loves Gold, Texas Bullion Exchange. You can get the Donald Trump, his coin. You can get silver bars, silver bricks, gold rounds, gold buffaloes. You can get all sorts of beautiful precious metals from wendylovesgold.com, our friends at Texas Bullion Exchange. But it's beyond that. You know, anybody can go buy anything from anyone. But do you want to have a relationship with them after you do? Right? You go to a surgeon and they cut into you and you never see them again, right? And they're like, goodbye, that's it. Now, that's not how I want to buy precious metals. I want to grow. I want to work with somebody who's sort of like a financial planner who can be like, all right, what's your objective? How long do you have to invest? What do you want to get to? Where's your kind of pie in the sky dream? All right, let's work on that together. I want to have a relationship with them. It's not fleeting. I don't need a surgeon. I need a helper. You know, I need a captain of my financial ship. And a lot of that goes to Texas Bullion Exchange, wendylovesgold.com. I trust them. You know, they don't steer me wrong. The products I've gotten from them have been beautiful. It is enjoyable. And you learn something. 855-927-5557. 855-927-5557. I'm trying desperately to open this last one, son of a mother. There we go. Because there's something about having, oh, you turd. Having, 3 coins in your hand and not just 2. Come on out. I shouldn't be doing this. All right. It's telling me not to. But anyway, the sound of silver. I love it. 855-927-5557. All right. Also exciting news. So you know I talk about Ignite 90, Kelly Morgan's program. All right. Hold on. I'll show you the picture because you guys know the picture I'm going to show. That dude. Look at that. Look at that before and after. Look at that. Look at him. 100 pounds of fat, 8 months. Now, that's obviously a different ball game than what she says with 90 Ignite. And what she basically says is, we're going to get you some data. And if you go to Dr. Dubiak, you're going to get it. But she'll also help you get it. We're going to talk about how you eat. We're going to create a game plan, things that you should eat, things you should not eat. And then I'm going to teach you how to exercise. And you're going to do that 4 days a week. And the 3 days a week that you're not doing that sort of stuff, weight training and other things, you're going to be out walking. You're going to be moving. And after 90 days, we're going to get together and we're going to remeasure your body. And people are down like 16 inches. And I'm like, in 90 days? Are you kidding me? And some of the success stories have been phenomenal. The program is now live nationwide. Morgainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com. Go to the landing page, follow the directions, and land on 90 Ignite, and it'll tell you how to sign up. I'm sure she's getting swamped. You do the work, but she shows you how to do it. And then when you're done, you have it for life. It's great. That's what I love about Body by Aim 362. You get the results. Your results don't change day to day, right? So then you get the tools that you need to know. You know what to eat. You know what not to eat. Like Brock found out he shouldn't be eating gluten. Well, his body kind of told him that when he lost weight the first time. He felt remarkably better. But this gene thing showed him, about that. Just stay away from it in general. Thank you. This is stuff that you need to know. It makes the process of gaining control of your health so much easier. And it gives you the tools to be consistent. So bodybyAim360.com, Morgain's Fitness, MORGAINZ Fitness. You know how I feel about these people. I wouldn't talk about them if they weren't off the charts. I say it almost flippantly. We don't hate these people enough.
We don't.
But we really don't. I mean, I have a moderate understanding of the fraud. Moderate, and mine is a scintilla of what we really know. I mean, think about it. Bob Menendez was the one senator who got caught taking bribes. What about all the others? Who else? And if you don't say it about me, I won't say it about you. Therefore, you have Ilhan Omar not getting censured and Corey Mills not getting censured. We'll cross each other out. Oh, that's neato. I have a problem with that. All right. Where are we? Who loves me? Let's go. Why are you not talking about me? Oh, so funny. Okay. Funny, my test said I don't get enough sleep. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, I do. But it's so good. And by the way, I have a Blood Flow 7 story for you because they lost our order. We lost our order and they were on it like, boom, white on rice. My sons are going to be so excited. Merry Christmas, boys. Alpha Gold. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, it's sometimes you feel stupid after being fleeced for so long. Anybody who's been ripped off, particularly if it's been ripped off for a while, right? It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's beyond frustrating. You want to take somebody, throat punch them, and throw them down the stairs, and then walk all over them wearing stilettos. Ooh, that added a little flavor, didn't it? But when you're the victim of fraud and somebody has ripped you off, it goes deep. This has been going on for so long, it's not even funny. And it's almost embarrassing that we haven't known about it. But I get it. We do now. And it has to change now. So I want to dig even deeper. I want to give you the story about a whistleblower who says Maine taxpayers, it's not just Minnesota, Maine taxpayers have had millions and millions of Medicaid dollars stolen from them by a health services contractor called Gateway Community Services. Now, it's not enough that these people come into our country and then they take over our communities and then they steal from us and then they gloat about it. It's not even... This isn't make-believe. This is real. News Nation. Rich McHugh sits down with the whistleblower who says his boss, who's a Somalian, has been ripping off Maine and sending money to Somalia to fund a militia because he's running for president of his small Somalian enclave. Wait, a guy ripping off Maine taxpayers while simultaneously running for president in his Somalian community? Are you freaking kidding me? Go.
Our own Rich McHugh speaking to a whistleblower who says his former boss defrauded millions of dollars from that state's Medicaid program through services that were never delivered.
We started getting some clients calling and saying, months later that their client owed them hours. They hadn't come in for these shifts and stuff. But I had a time card for it.
And they were billing for it.
They were billing for it.
Our Rich McHugh in Lewiston, Maine for us once again with the latest from his investigation. Rich?
Hi, Blake. The more we look into this story, the crazier it gets. The man who ultimately founded and was the executive director of this social services agency here in Lewiston, Maine, and in other parts of Maine, was at the same time last year running for president of Jubaland, which is a subsection of Somalia on the border with Kenya. His name is Abdullahi Ali, and in an interview, and this is where it gets real crazy, with Kenyan media, he openly discussed contributing money back to Somalia and paramilitary forces. In the interview, first reported by the Maine Wire back in March, Abdullahi Ali posted to his own presidential media page in a section we had translated, he said this.
When I was away and abroad, the financial contributions I was sending back were being used to support the forces for buying bullets, ammunition, and food.
Republican State Senator Matt Harrington here in Maine, he's demanded an investigation from Governor Janet Mills.
It's just an absolute slap in the face to every Maine taxpayer that these funds that could be used to help Maine people, Maine veterans, Maine senior citizens, Maine families who are struggling, are being funneled to Somalia directly.
Now, Chris Bernardini, the self-described billing guru who blew the whistle, says he was horrified when he found out about this.
I learned that he was running for president of Jubaland, which is like a small country inside of Somalia, and that he had admitted to funding the militia groups over there. I guess that's part of
Somalia?
In Somalia. That's part of their thing that they do. Every president has a militia that they have to fund in order to run for president.
And so what'd you think about that?
I was horrified.
Now, as you know, Blake, you saw yesterday, we tried to go to Gateway. They essentially slammed the door on us, said no comment. We've tried to reach out to Governor Janet Mills repeatedly, no comment. The head of Health and Human Services won't respond, nor will the 3 Democratic Somalian-American members of the House of Representatives here in Maine. Nobody will speak to us. Here in Maine, nobody will speak to us.
Nobody will speak to us, as taxpayers in Maine have been bilked out of millions of dollars in Medicaid funds. I mean, like, are you surprised? Is there anybody who's actually getting the services that you and I are stupid enough to think our freaking tax dollars, which keep going up, are going to help? Is there an American citizen out there who's benefiting? Anybody? Bueller, raise your hand. Because it seems like everybody and his brother who's here from another country is on welfare, is getting food benefits, is getting free health care. Your own head of the minority party in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, voted to shut the government down because we wouldn't give illegal aliens $200 freaking billion in health care. Free health care. Meantime, they're wringing their hands over Obamacare. Oh, the premiums are going to go up. You know what? You people need to sit down and you need to shut your mouths. Or is it just me? So meantime, swooping in is the national treasure, Stephen Miller. He then hops on Will Kane's show last night and he talks about mass migration. He's like, this isn't just a last couple of years phenomenon. We can trace exactly where this idea of merging cultures and creating this giant melting pot, we can trace it to a specific time in history.
During the civil rights era, and this is the simplest way I can put it, there was a thought in effect, if you go back and you can read the transcripts of the debate at the time, of applying civil rights to immigration policy for the globe and to create a civil right for people from every part of the world to come to America in ever-growing numbers. And so a system that for years, as you mentioned, had been tightly restricted, suddenly established this global ability of people in every part of the world to come to America, to bring their families to America, and then eventually empty out their entire towns and their entire villages to the United States of America. And so what you saw between 1965 and today was the single largest experiment on a society, on a civilization that had ever been conducted in human history. Not just the 76 million immigrants that were brought in, largely from the third world, but their descendants too. So you see with a lot of these immigrant groups, not only is the first generation unsuccessful, again, Somalia is a clear example here, not only is the first generation unsuccessful, but you see persistent issues in every subsequent generation. So you see consistent high rates of welfare use, consistent high rates of criminal activity, consistent failures to assimilate. But this shouldn't be a surprise, Will. It's just common sense. If Somalians cannot make Somalia successful, why would we think that the track record would be any different in the United States?
Absolutely correct. Why on earth would bringing people whose cultures have failed to prosper in their own lands, why would bringing them here to America bring about a different outcome? And why is it anybody's civil right to come into this country? It's not. Stephen Miller, number 2.
There are people all over the world that are great people. But you look at the society. If Libya keeps failing, if the Central African Republic keeps failing, if Somalia keeps failing, right? If these societies all over the world continue to fail, you have to ask yourself, if you bring those societies into our country and then give them unlimited free welfare, what do we think is going to happen? You're going to replicate the conditions that they left over and over and over again. And we mask the impact of immigration in every public policy issue we discuss. We talk about test scores. Well, if you subtract immigration out of test scores, all of a sudden our test scores skyrocket. If you subtract immigration out of health care, all of a sudden we don't have nearly the size of the health care challenges our country faces. If you subtract immigration out of public safety, all of a sudden, we don't have violent crime in so many of our cities. Issue after issue, we talk about these things as they just happen to us. The schools just suddenly fail. Violent crime just suddenly explodes. The deficit just suddenly skyrockets. These are a result of social policy choices that we made through immigration.
No, that Democrats made through immigration. Democrats need the voters because they can't get their own. Black people woke up to them. I'm tired of being your punching bag. Stop saying you're going to help us. You don't help anybody but yourselves. And they started walking away. Bring in a new round. Great replacement theater or theory. That's not what's going on, really. Yeah, exactly what is going on. And it started about the year I was born, 1970. Did you know that from 1920 to 1970, there was, in fact, negative migration? The U.S. population doubled during that time period because of natural childbirth. We grew. Our country grew. The American family grew. That was the cauldron in which a united and shared national identity was formed. And you bring in a bunch of strangers who don't have any plans to assimilate to your culture. In fact, demand that you assimilate to them, that you oblige their customs and traditions, while, of course, simultaneously they're robbing you blind. And the Democrats are like, yeah, it's the right thing to do. Make sure you vote for us. Stephen Miller continues. He says people don't assimilate when they use your country's generosity to prop up their failed nation. That's what's going on.
And by the way, even worse than, and even worse than that, you end up with what our founding fathers feared the most, which is that you have foreign immigrants who become advocates, not for this country, but the country that they left. So you see, replete throughout Somali politics in Minnesota is this constant concern about how to reorient U.S. politics around Somalia, and then using welfare fraud, pillaging the U.S. financial system to prop up a foreign country. So in this case, the U.S. becomes an object not of patriotism, but of plunder. And, when you're talking about assimilation, two things matter enormously: the numbers and how different the cultures are. So the further away in culture you go and the larger in number you go, by definition, the greater challenge it poses to assimilation.
Yes. And so one last question.
And isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that the Democrats that are all about this have no concern whatsoever for you? They have no concern for your children. They have no concern for the violence that erupts on our streets. They have no concern for the rapes, for the kidnappings, for the trafficking. And they have no concern whatsoever that you are endangered by their greed, by their plunder. When we come back, so what's it going to take? What's a solution? Stephen Miller might have one. And then this whole Somalian Maine situation has now gotten a little gnarly, as there is a bounty on the head of a Somalian reporter who's been working with reporters here in the U.S. to crack the case of Somalian fraud in Maine. Oh, my. It's heating up next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right. It is so, the more you begin to see it, I'm just going to say this too as well. So I was sitting down on the couch. I gave Murphy a bath the other day. And so he smells sweeter than he did. He was like, but he likes to lie next to me at the couch, and his area smells like dog, right? So I was laying down there today, and I was like, or sitting on the couch creating today's rundown, and I was like, I popped up. And where did I go, Brock? I went into the kitchen.
You got the sniper
and I got
knockout.
And I got knockout. And I sprayed all over the side of the couch where he lays his head and on the carpet. And I went back and I put the bottle back and I sat down on the couch. And I'm telling you, it's like it's magic. The odor went away. It's called Knockout for a reason. And it's one of many of the products you can get at disinfectwithsniper.com. This is the little travel size. This is the hospital grade killer of all germs, bacteria, fungi, everything that's nasty and microbial and microscopic that makes you sick, everything that turns your holiday haywire. And you're like, oh no. No, we can't have people getting sick before grandma and grandpa come. That's when you just absolutely hit the whole house with knockout and sniper. That's it. That's the whole thing. Okay. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. It's the smartest thing you'll ever do. And when you get a spray bottle, you're like, who wants to ship liquid, especially like a gallon? Who wants to ship 8 pounds? Do you know how much money that is? Well, it's not, because he's eating the cost of the shipping, right? Because of you people.
Ooh, you people.
You people. Disinfectwithsniper.com. And by the way, get some of the spices. Hunt Chef spices. So good. So good. Yum. Period. I love a company whose motto is eat what you kill. I'm like, right on. And don't forget about Crescent Mountain Coffee either. It's a great gift for the snob in your life. Wendy Bell Radio, Patriot Blend, Shazizzle Blend. I think they also still have our holiday stuff that's up. Yum. Yum. It ain't cheap. It's so good.
What coffee really is,
It's
though?
not. You're right.
If you're willing to spend, not you guys, but most people are willing to spend
$7,
$5, $6, $7 for a cup of coffee. What's a bag of coffee? I'd rather have the bag.
100%. Yeah. And this coffee is just like, mwah. The Patriot Blend is the smoothest thing you will ever have. Literally,
I don't put
I'm like,
cream or sugar.
Nothing. Don't touch it. Don't you dare touch it. Raw. How you doing? All right. How's our
it was
rumble?
Murphy who stunk?
Yeah. Why? As opposed to what? What are you saying?
Nothing.
That there's woeful rumblage? 226? You guys, can you kindly Scooby on down to the thumbs up bubble underneath my fantastic fabulosity and click that button and then click the follow button next to it? Forget. See, once you're awake, it's really hard to fall back asleep. Once you break out of your hibernation and you get out of the cave and you break, you get the twigs and the leaves off of you and you begin to see the world again and you're like, dang, I'm hungry. Let's go. It's hard to go back. You're awake. And every single day, more and more people are seeing it. And think about the timing here. As President Trump essentially kicks off the campaigning, the midterm campaigning for 2026, did it last night in Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about that. Got sound from that coming up. I want you to hear this final Stephen Miller National Treasure soundbite with Will Kane. So is there actually a solution out here? And he does. He has one. And it sounds extreme, and it needs to be. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm down with this 100%. Listen and then think about what you believe.
Clearly, we need to have in this country exactly what President Trump called for, which is that we need a moratorium on immigration from third world countries until we can heal ourselves as a nation, solve our education issues, solve our healthcare issues, our public safety issues, our assimilation issues, our cultural issues. So the 1924 Act is such a good example because we had large-scale immigration from Europe from 1880 to 1920. So in other words, we went from a country that had immigration from part of Europe to immigration from many other parts of Europe. but even other European countries pose enormous stresses on the U.S. system, both economically and in terms of security. There's a lot of crime, a lot of threats to public safety and order, and those are addressed with very strict new immigration quotas. What they don't teach you in school is that from 1920 to 1970, there was negative migration. There was a half century of negative migration. The foreign-born population declined by 40% for half a century. During that same time period, Will, the U.S. population doubled from natural childbirth. That was the cauldron in which a unified shared national identity was formed. They went through a depression together. They went through world wars together. They landed on the moon together. This great period in American history happened at a time when there was negative migration. They don't teach that to our kids in school, and frankly, I would submit very few politicians serving in Congress probably know that, Will.
What he says is basically no more migration. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your reason. None. I don't want it. We don't want it. No more. Moratorium on the turnstiles going around the clock. No mas. And then he said something very interesting. America needs time to heal. Yes. Yes. And the process is a long one because we have been abused. Our generosity has been trampled. And we have Democrats calling us racist or extreme or Nazis or fascist if we say, wait a minute, this isn't right. So at the beginning of this last segment, this last half hour, we told you the story about a whistleblower in Maine who says taxpayers there have had millions of Medicaid dollars stolen from them by a health services contractor called Gateway Community Services. I want to read this to you. The Maine Wire is the publication where a lot of this stuff is coming from. Gateway Community Services CEO Abdullah Ali yesterday attacked me personally. This guy's name is Steve Robinson. He is the reporter from the Maine Wire. He's the equivalent of Liz Collin in Minnesota. And now his fellow Klan members, his son and cousin, this reporter writes, are threatening to murder a journalist in Somalia who shared our reporting. Why does Governor Janet Mills continue to fund this organization with Maine Care dollars and no bid contracts? And why are Democrats cravenly smearing the character of anyone who exposes fraud or calls out corruption? Abdullah Ali's son and cousin are openly placing bounties on a Somali journalist's head. They're calling for his killing, all because they've helped shine light on Ali's migrant agency overbilling Maine Care and the fraud allegations made against his company. Ali's former employee has made credible and detailed allegations of systemic fraud. We heard from him in the last segment. Ali's employee has shown great courage by revealing how Ali allegedly directed his company to invent fake Maine Care claims and defraud the taxpayers of Maine. So Ali has never denied these allegations. Instead, he has attacked me, journalist Steve Robinson writes. And now his allies in Jubaland, where he's running for president and paying to assemble his own militia with Maine Care dollars, right? They're calling for violence against journalists for exposing the truth, while his allies in Maine turn a blind eye or smear the reporters and politicians exposing fraud and corruption. Sounds like a lot of people are very afraid. They've gotten very used to the gravy train that's coming to an end. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour 2, the president kicks off the 2026 midterm campaign season in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. I want you to hear what he says because he says it all. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm going to run to the bathroom. Do you have to go?
No.
Okay.
This fraud going on in our country is absolutely. Just think how much money is going to be spent in Minnesota cleaning it all up. Not just the fraud, the waste, all the resources that cost money that have to be put towards cleaning it up. $100 million, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's like the fraud wasn't bad enough. Now you got to pay out the butthole to clean it up. So it's, I mean, they get you coming and going. They really do. It's only Wednesday, but bad jokes. WBRBrock@gmail.com. And good news, WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. The earlier they get in, the sooner I can put them together and actually read through them. Yeah, this fraud's got to stop. It absolutely has to stop. We're paying out and they just raise your taxes to pay for all this crap that they do. And you want to know why things aren't affordable? Because every time you turn around, there's another tax. Your assessments go up. We got to do this because the federal government's given us this much, so we have to match it.
I've always asked, I'm like, why is it that they never look at their own budget?
Never.
And figure out what they can cut, because everything, I swear to God, every single thing is a grift.
Yeah, they're willing to cut your pay.
Every single thing is a grift. Why ever would they want to stop a grift? And you're like, that's ridiculous. I mean, they can't be that corrupt. And then you're like,
well, just think about Pittsburgh. They're talking about more taxes in the city going up. Allegheny County, where we both reside, 30%. Where's that coming from? That's coming from my pocket. So things become more expensive because there's less money coming in because government's going to come in and thieve their way into my paycheck.
and let's say beyond that, it's not like you're getting anything extra.
No.
You know, it's not like all of a sudden you're getting the most delicious water. It's like, wow.
No, you're still buying bottled water.
Oh, that's kind of bright. Okay. Let's talk about, who do we want to talk about? Okay. Blood flow 7 alpha gold male. I don't know how much more of a testimonial I can give a product than by saying I bought it for my children. I have 2 sons who don't sleep particularly well for whatever reason. And there could be a million reasons why, right? So I was like, I know what we should do. This is easy. And I think it's going to help you with your testosterone. It's going to help you with your hormones. It's going to help you with cortisol, with estrogen, with all this other stuff that you don't want, right? It's going to help you with that. And it's going to help you sleep. It's going to help you stay up, stay alert, stay focused, stay strong. And then at the end of the day, because you've been up and active and doing stuff, you're going to fall asleep. You're going to stay asleep and you're going to sleep like a boulder. That's bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I'm taking the blood flow. Brock is taking the alpha gold male. Hold on, I got to pull this out. And so I had a problem with Ryan's. So I tried to send Ryan a bottle of blood flow because he was just, I sleep poorly and it's killing me. And I'm like, you're too young to sleep poorly. So let's get this addressed. So it never arrived. The delivery said it came, but he never got it. So I reached out to the gal and I was like, can you help me track this? And she did. And she's like, here's what I'm doing. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a new order. I'm going to send one for your other son, Michael. I'll send it to your home address where we've had success before. Don't worry about it. We'll send it to you. And I'm like, thank you. Now, it's not that I can't afford it. It's like $30. It's not a big deal. It's the greatest $30 you'll spend on yourself because you're like, night, night. And then when you're up during the day, it's like, I'm telling you, changes your life. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Period. I would never offer it to my children. ever. Well, I would never offer it to you if I didn't think it worked. Duh. Also, I have all sorts of fun things I need to talk about. Let's talk. Let's see, bit bookmarks. I am so discombobulated today. I beg your pardon. I want to tell you quickly about Lean. Take lean.com. Use the promo code Wendy, 20% off. This is Brickhouse Nutrition. You know I love them. Field of Greens. This is their weight loss supplement. This is their big daddy. This is the product that they're super geeked about because it mirrors the effects of getting shots and losing weight, but doing it slowly and steadily and healthfully and controllably. It's called Lean. Take lean.com. Promo code Wendy, 20% off right now. And they stand by this 100%, right? So it helps appetite and cravings. It helps maintain a healthy blood sugar. It helps convert fat into energy. Okay, I'll have 4. Take lean.com, 20% off. Promo code Wendy. Boom. I think you'll like it. Sorry. All right, did we get to 277 yet? 256. Come on. All right, I need 210 people before we get started. So it's a minute. I mean, that's a huge ask. If you haven't hit thumbs up, that bubble next to the chat underneath the video box, just scooby on over there. Give us a hit. 11 thumbs downs. Thank you. Thank you. I don't like her jacket.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once increased voter turnout just by clearing her throat. Her listeners don't call in. They report for duty. When she drops truth bombs, even the fallout apologizes. She actually stopped the government shutdown simply by making eye contact. She tells the truth in a way that makes lies file for witness protection. She delivers the truth so bluntly, the facts ask for helmets. Her monologues don't pull punches. They hire a hockey team. Wendy Bell is the most interesting talk show host in radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. And you know, I started off the very beginning and I asked you a simple question. Tell me one time this president has gotten it totally wrong. He's told you something, it was completely the opposite. He is mocked and ridiculed. The media drag him for the things that he does and says. So tell me one thing. When has he been wrong? When has he told you something that hasn't happened? And when he tells you that something's about to happen, do you hear it? Because the media don't. This next hour is really a bevy of President Trump. And it's an interesting thing because this first segment, I want to take you to Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania, where Trump came with Scott Bessent and several others in his cabinet to, for 90 minutes, talk to his constituents and to make the case for Republican leadership of this country. I don't think that there's any question that there is one way to vote. Is it perfect? No. Do I trust this president implicitly? Yeah. Because the one guy who hasn't gotten rich, who hasn't milked the system, who hasn't fudged the data, who hasn't conned the voters, right, is Donald Trump. He's not taking his salary. He's had to basically walk away from his companies, which he's had to give to Eric to run. He's walked away from business. He's walked away from having any kind of a social life, any kind of private time. He's been impeached twice, indicted 5 times, criminally charged scores of times. And here he is, standing tall, telling the truth. Now, the Democrats don't like the truth, obviously. They will do anything to smokescreen us, divert, to stonewall and slow walk his progress. Just look at the Senate. John Thune, exactly what is it, man, that you are doing besides nothing well? You rhino. But I want you to hear from the president himself, because he says things in a very specific way. He says things off the teleprompter, yes, but then he weaves, right? That's what they call it. He weaves, he deviates, he kind of goes off into the weeds, it seems, but he always comes back and he drops something unexpected on you. Let's hear the main things that he said at this rally at Mount Pocono. He says, Somalians ripping off America. And the stupid people, the stupid Democrats who are letting it happen, he says very boldly what a lot of civilized cultures other than America are unwilling to say because they think it's politically incorrect. He says, if you're illegal, get out of our country. Listen.
If you don't share our values, contribute to our economy, and assimilate into our society, then we don't want you in our country. We don't want you. I mean, Ilan Omar and the people from Somalia, they hate our country. And they think we're stupid people, which actually, when they allow that to happen, they are. That's headed by Governor Walz, one of the dumber people around. No, but think of it. He's given not like peanuts, billions. These are people that don't work in their own country. Their own country's a failure. They have no money there. And yet they come into our country and steal tens of billions of dollars. How stupid are we to allow that to happen? They can't earn 10 cents in their country. They come over here and rob. Are we that easy? Are we that easy to allow a thing like that to happen? That's up to you.
You know why they came after him for his mean tweets? Nicole Wallace had a meltdown the other day, talking about how he called so-and-so piggy and so-and-so this and that. Oh, I can't believe it. It's just so misogynistic. No, he's saying what he needs to be said. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care how it lands on your radar. He doesn't care if it offends you, because what's offensive to the United States is people who suck and who steal and who smoke screen and make excuses. That's what it is. He says, look, we're stopping third world immigration. No more people from failed countries who want to bring their failed countries' ideas into the greatest place on planet Earth, America. No more.
I've also announced a permanent pause on third world migration, including from hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shit, all you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I say, why is it we only take people from whole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden, just a few? Let us have a few. From Denmark, do you mind sending us a few people? Send us some nice people, do you mind? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
There you go. And I'm telling you what, he does not care if you want to call him a white nationalist, if you want to call him racist, if you want to call him a hater, you want to call him a Nazi. He's like, you know what? These people are ruining our country. I don't really care what you think about me, piggy. Take a seat, shut your mouth. We've got work to do. I don't need to be gotcha'd by your lame question news, babe. Take a seat. Oh, in the media, they can't stand it. Oh, did you hear what he said? Yeah, because we're all thinking it. Take a seat, piggy. That's not very nice. I don't care. So stealing billions of dollars, it's not nice. Democrats let it happen. Here's President Trump saying, look, we actually are doing what exactly Stephen Miller said in the hour preceding. We are reversing the trends of migration. We are saving lives by closing the door and stopping the journey through the Darien Gap, where people are being raped and murdered. Their organs are being stolen, harvested. It is beyond. And the Democrats who opened the door to that are responsible. We're stopping that.
For the first time in 50 years, we now have reverse migration, which means more jobs, better wages, and higher income for American citizens, not for illegal aliens. And you know what? We all have a heart. We want to take care of people. But these people are getting killed on the walk up. They're dying. They're dying. They have to go through jungles. We don't realize this. They are going through areas that are not, it's not possible to get through some of the areas. They're going through jungles down in the Central America, South America, some of these areas with snakes, with crocodiles and alligators. They're getting just eaten, and they're getting beat up by some of the bad people. Women are being raped. Remember when I started, I said we're going to stop the raping of women in those caravans, a name conceived of by me, because it's a caravan, thousands of people, 10, 15, 20,000 people coming up. The women in those caravans are being raped in unprecedented numbers by other people in the caravans. By them not coming, they're not even trying to come now because they know they can't get through. We're doing a tremendous service because they're not being killed and they're not being raped and they're staying back in their country where they've been.
Then he talks about health insurance. He talks about the big thing that's coming up, and it's the discussion about the Unaffordable Care Act. And he says what I believe every common sense American feels and wants to hear from their commander.
We're also working to bring down the cost of health care. Obamacare is a scam. Under Obamacare, trillions of dollars were given directly to health insurance companies. Their stocks are up 1,700% in a very short period of time. Would you say that's good? Obamacare's primary purpose was to pay off insurance companies. You know, the insurance companies back the Democrats very heavily. I want to give billions of dollars directly to the people. I want to take all of the billions and billions and actually trillions, but over a period of time. And I want to give all of that money we give to the big, fat, rich insurance companies. I don't want to give them nothing. I want to give nothing to the insurance companies. I don't want to give all because they're sucking our country dry with this scam by the Democrats. That was Obama, and I've always said it, Obamacare, but now you see the numbers because your premiums are going up on Obamacare and everything. It's forcing everything up. But we want the money go directly to the people. We want you to go out and buy your own health insurance, and you'll get much better health insurance at a much lower cost.
It's the same idea as school choice. Why should you be railroaded into a project or into a product that doesn't serve your needs, in fact, that fails demonstrably year after year when you should pilot that ship? Period. When we come back, exciting information from the DEA. They've noticed something about the drugs on the street, and you need to know about it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I don't know why they just can't make just the easiest thing to do is take health insurance, I think, and I could be wrong, and make it tax-free. Let me write that off at the end of the year so it doesn't hurt me, you know? Like, when you have to buy separately, it's tax-free when you buy it from your employer, when you get it through your employer, but when you don't, I have to pay for it afterwards. So I pay taxes on my
income, and then I pay tax,
and then
I
out
get
of pocket,
yes,
I
yeah.
have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah, at least let me recoup some of that. Chef IQ, I'm telling you what, you could legitimately get your Christmas shopping done simply by watching this show. There are enough phenomenal products, and I wish Genucel was on this week. They're coming back, but I've been using this jobby. It's so cool. We've got the greatest sponsors, but I want to tell you specifically about Chef IQ. Okay, because this is the company that we rave about. This is the company that makes this Chef IQ Sense. Oops. This is what they make. I'm going to pull it up and tell you 30% off right now. 30% off if you go to chefiq.com and then you put my name as the promo code. Wendy as the promo code. 30% off. Get all your shopping done. Chef IQ Sense, it is more than a wireless cooking thermometer. It literally is as valuable as a sous chef. It's as valuable as having somebody behind you who's cleaning up all of your dishes. It's the person who's cutting up all of the ingredients and all you're doing is throwing them in, right? You're like, woohoo! All of the prep work, all of the worry and aggravation is absorbed by this. And it tells you exactly what to do. It's foolproof. I'm a dummy when it comes to technology, and I could do it. It's simple. Don't slave by your oven or outside by your grill or your smoker trying to make some wonderful feast for your family this summer or this winter and avoid, spending time with your family by doing that. Let Chef IQ Sense be your guide. Changes your world. Changes your world. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and for everybody. Professionals could use it. Novices could use it. Students can use it. Think about somebody, maybe your son or daughter just got a new apartment. Maybe they just got married. Hello. And thank you. Congratulations. ChefIQ.com, promo code Wendy. 30% off. I'm just telling you, once you use it, you're like, thank you, God. Takes all the guesswork out of it. Okay. I feel like a hot mess today. You're not, Wendy. You're fabulous. Wow. Okay. My eyes are bothering me.
Is it that stank eye again?
No, that went away. Thank goodness. It was really uncomfortable
You
for a
threatened
period
it with
of
a
time.
doctor's appointment.
I did, and then it went away. How about this guy? Now you've got people coming out of the woodwork warning President Trump about Venezuela. He knows. And he says something to this Dasha Burns chick about 2020.
She bothered me.
She didn't listen, Brock. She doesn't listen. Sean Hannity doesn't listen. He does this. Pay attention when you watch any of these news anchors. They've got somebody there. The show, hour number 1, I read to you a letter. Now, the second letter coming from somebody deeply entrenched in the Venezuelan government, this gentleman working in the Venezuelan military for decades under Hugo Chavez, not Nicolas Maduro, but he writes to President Trump and he says, sir, yes, I've done some things I will forever regret. And I'm serving a prison sentence right now in Maryland. But I want you to know I have details about the infiltration of the Venezuelan government and its minions and proxies, its militia called Tren de Aragua, which have infiltrated America, as we well know, thanks to the open border. But there are people in your government, in Congress, who are working as operatives of the Venezuelan government. Oh, really? Meantime, right? Meantime, we've got the USS Gerald Ford parked there in the Caribbean Sea looking at Nicolas Maduro saying, how you doing, buddy? And you're going to hear President Trump saying some things as he sits down with this Politico reporter yesterday about his intentions or ideas about Venezuela. And the reporter is not paying attention. This is a big deal, though, and it's all about cutting out the conduit. If you kneecap an organization, you got to take out its fuel, and that's the drugs. So this has been the president's strategy. We know Kash Patel went to China. He was working with their FBI director equivalent there with the CCP. And though culturally and geopolitically we don't necessarily see eye to eye, Cash and his counterpoint agreed. We've got to cut off the ingredients, the precursors that go into the ultimate concoction, the deadly drug fentanyl. Well, the DEA has put out something that I think is a victory for this administration. The DEA launches Fentanyl Free America initiative to combat the synthetic drug crisis. But that's not really just the story. The U.S. DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, is intensifying its fight against the deadly threat of synthetic opioids with the launch of Fentanyl Free America. It's a comprehensive enforcement initiative and public awareness campaign aimed at reducing both the supply and the demand for fentanyl. This effort underscores DEA's unwavering commitment to protecting American lives and communities from the devastating impacts of fentanyl. You know somebody who's died from it? I do. Which claimed nearly 50,000 lives last year, according to the CDC. Through intensified enforcement operations and heightened intelligence, DEA is applying unprecedented pressure on the global fentanyl supply chain, forcing narco-terrorists like the Sinaloa cartel and the CJNG cartel to change their business practices. This has led to encouraging signs of progress. DEA laboratory testing indicates 29% of fentanyl pills analyzed during fiscal year 25 contained a potentially lethal dose, 29%. So essentially 1 out of every 3, I don't know, does it come in pills? Does it come as I don't know how it comes, but whatever it is, 1/3 of it on the street is lethal. It is so strong, and you roll the dice like Russian roulette, have no idea until you dead. And this is a significant drop. 29% of fentanyl pills analyzed contain a potentially lethal dose, a significant drop from the 76% of pills tested just 2 years prior. Additionally, fentanyl powder purity decreased to 10.3%, down from 19.5% during the same time frame. These reductions in potency and purity correlate with a decline in synthetic and opioid deaths to levels not seen since April of 2020. So weird. So here we have a president and an administration launching these lethal kinetic strikes. Narco-terrorists being blown out of the water in the Eastern Pacific and in the Caribbean. You have 6 former military members who are current members of Congress, senators or congressmen, making a video pushing back against. Why ever would that be? You're more worried, Rand Paul, with the rights of people who are trying to kill Americans because they've done it successfully for so long? You're more concerned about due process rights for 2 guys who got blown out of the water and miraculously somehow survived. You're more worried about that than you are about the 50,000 sons and daughters in this country last year who died. Each of you is connected to this scourge. And finally, we have a president who says, no más. Adios, amigos. I voted for that. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. He's just not that into you, Dasha. Dasha Burns, this reporter with Politico, she thinks she's got this hot interview with the president. Does not listen to what he says. And what he says is so important. The between the lines that she missed, but you won't. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. That's huge. So now you have a lower likelihood of using whatever the hell this stuff, however it comes across. Is it like in a powder? Do you have to melt it? Do you snort it? I have no idea. I have no idea. But we're going from 3 out of 4 doses recovered off of the street being deadly to now 1 out of 3, which is still one too many. But that's just in a few months. Okay, let's go. Do more. CB Distillery. You know, I think that in 2018, when the whole CBD world became, you know, this is something that you and I could start buying. CBD products were able to be sold over the counter in the United States. And again, CBD from hemp. This isn't what makes you high, but the medicinal effects of it are undoubted. And we've known this since the beginning of the indigenous peoples, right? But now you can get CBD quality, clean, no funny business, no weird stuff put into it, just pure, clean, green, from the earth CBD to help you fall asleep, to help you stay asleep, to help you deal with stress, to help you manage anxiety, to help you ease your pain when you work out and have sore muscles. It's not that hard. CBDistillery.com. This is the company I trust, and they're giving you a great promo right now, 25% off. Use promo code RUMBLE to get 25% off your order. Pretty big deal. CBDistillery.com. Promo code RUMBLE.
Oh, Nicole. Can't believe how triggered she is.
She is a piece of work, isn't she? Yeah, and it's like, look, pal, your husband is the New York Times Pulitzer Prize reporting journalist. Wouldn't you be embarrassed to get a Pulitzer Prize, the creme de la creme of accolades, for a bogus initiative, a smear campaign against an incoming president? And you're like, I'd like to thank the Academy and my mom and my pencil-lipped wife, Nicole, who's triggered and toxic, and she's a white, college-educated whack job.
I mean, that's all her show's about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's kind of wild, isn't it? Man, I need a tan. I feel ghostly. Give me a rumble here.
Give Casper a rumble.
If you think I'm Casper, yes. Wow, that wasn't very nice.
Still not 3.
We will. Right here, momentarily. Look at this. Watch. In 5.
Oh, here we go.
4. 3. Dang it.
Oh.
We need 20 rumbles. 2. 1. No. Dang it. Oh. It's not very nice. Brock needs to come back with Megadeth so Wendy can headbang in her jean jacket. It's
I'd play some White Snake or something.
This is leather.
White Snake or
I think it's really cute.
Motley Crue.
Mary Beth gave it to me. Isn't that cute? Yes. She feels bad because she's a biatch. Kills me. Hey, I'm very grateful that my genetic testing from Dr. Dubiak proved that my high intensity training is the right form of exercise for me and that there's no need for me to run because I hate running unless I'm being chased.
Well, not just that. Your foot doesn't.
I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to.
Well, I couldn't take that. I'd have to hear about it every day.
Birthday countdown. 3 days. 50 for Brock. P.O. Box 86033. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 15221. accepting all birthday wishes. Any birthday card one wishes to send, and they have been rolling in. I don't know why you're upset by that. Look at Demanda. She's on it like white on rice. Look at Sherry.
Let me delete those.
Look at you guys.
I'm deleting them.
You're obviously not. See, we got to 3.0.
Watch,
Okay.
I just did.
Okay, so here's the deal. You guys are doing really great. Let's get to 3.33 by the end of this segment. Right? Wouldn't that be fabulous? Get your AMAC card. That's right. Isn't this cute, Susie? Yeah, it's leather. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So I started seeing some clips yesterday. Brock was peppering them to me while I was writing my Newsmax weekend script. And it was a sit down with President Trump. And I'm like, I know that reporter, Dasha Burns. She's the woman who sat down and interviewed John Fetterman. She was the first one. She was working for CBS at the time. And she's the one who sat down as John Fetterman was coming back from the stroke and winning the Senate seat and all this stuff. And he needed equipment. And she had noticed that he struggled when they weren't recording with just basic chit chat. And the left went nutty on her, called her ableist. How dare you discriminate against a man? Do you know what he's been through? And I'm like, yeah, we know. We watched the debate. Hello and good night. We were like, oh, geez. And of course he won, right? So she's failed downwards or upwards, as the case might be. And now she works at Politico, which is a left-wing rag. I think they're horrible, but I quote them commonly because it's nice to know what the left is doing. They're unabashedly Trump haters, unabashedly MAGA haters. It is what it is. So how do they get Trump to sit down for this interview? Brock sends me the full interview. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So I put in the AirPods and I'm doing stuff and I'm listening to the interview. It's fascinating. And I'm going to get you as much as I can. All right. So they've picked Trump as the most powerful person in Europe. That's the whole guise of this sit down. And Trump actually is like, I really didn't want to do this, but because you picked me for this award, I thought it was in bad taste for me not to give you the time. But in very short order, you find out that this Dasha Burns reporter knows very little about President Trump. And she's a poor listener because he tells you everything. You just have to care to hear. Audio soundbite number one. Here is the president telling Politico's reporter about Somalia. Come here to make America great. Otherwise, no thank you. Get out.
I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there, too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
The Democrats are running some bad ships. He knows all of it. He has all of the details. He knows about Venezuela. He knows about Somalia. He knows about Haiti. He knows about all of these countries. He knows who's profiting. He knows how the grift is going. The Democrats are running some pretty bad ships, he says. She then picks up the ball and wants to talk about Nicolas Maduro, but she thinks that he's going to give her some kind of specifics on his approach. Are you going to replace Nicolas Maduro? Do you want to see somebody else? Blah, 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 blah. Are you willing to send her? And he's basically like, who are you, by the way? And why on earth do you believe in a million years I would trust you and reveal secrets about my strategy to people who've proven to us demonstrably that they cannot be trusted? And I'm not so sure she got the message. Listen.
I can't talk about strategy.
So how far would you go to take Maduro out of office?
I don't want to say that, but...
But you want to see him out?
His days are numbered.
Can you rule out an American ground invasion?
I don't want to rule in or out. I don't talk about it. Why would I talk to you, an extremely unfriendly publication, if you want to call it Politico, that got $8 million from Obama to keep it afloat? Why would I do that? Why would I talk about that to Politico? I mean, I'm doing this because you picked me as a man for Europe.
I'm asking for transparency for their American people, because a lot of folks are, well, people are wondering
I am
what
the
is
most transparent politician maybe in the world.
Listen to her, just try to get whatever she can. She's got her notes. She's got to get in her questions. She doesn't want him to weave. She does not understand that when he meanders and he goes somewhere, it's not like Joe Biden lost in the weeds. Don't jump, right? That's not hyperbole, man. He's going somewhere purposefully. He's taking you on a journey, and he's telling you directly what is going on. I'm not going to tell you crap about how I feel. Why would I ever talk to you? But I'm being nice because I thought it was the responsible, respectable thing to do to sit down with you, since you voted me the most important person in Europe, right? I'm not going to give you secrets. I'm not going to tell you crap. And then he says this about Europe. It's a very interesting interview. And he talks about the invasion, the Muslim particular. He doesn't say that word. The Muslim invasion of Europe. And how if European leaders don't stop worrying about their political correctness, don't stop worrying about trampling on people's feelings or being called racist or bigoted or, oh my gosh, right? They're still worried about those words. They're going to lose their countries. And we're watching it happen. Listen.
Europe is, I'm friendly with all of them. I mean, I like all of them. I have no real enemy. I've had a couple that I didn't like over the years. I actually like the current crew. I like them a lot. But and I know them very well. I know them really well. Some are friends, some are okay. I know the good leaders, I know the bad leaders, I know the smart ones, I know the stupid ones. You got some real stupid ones too. But they're not doing a good job. Europe is not doing a good job in many ways. They're not doing a good job.
I want to ask
They
you
talk
about
too
that.
much, and they're not producing. We're talking about Ukraine. They talk, but they don't produce. I think they're weak, but I also think that they want to be so politically correct. I think they don't know what to do. Europe doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do on trade either. I mean, I look at a lot of the trade, situation that's going on over there. It's a little bit dangerous, but Europe, they want to be politically correct, and it makes them weak. That's what makes them weak.
Trump says what he says. He calls reporters out for interrupting. He says to their faces in front of the world, "You are the worst reporter. Quiet, piggy." Right? He said that. There's a reason why. There is decorum. You don't get to shout at me. You don't get to interrupt me or my international guests as we invite you into the Oval Office. You don't get to, try to gotcha me. Do you have any idea what we're doing? You moron. And he calls it out. And the people who don't like it are usually the morons. And he says Europe is falling apart. Germany, France, they are falling apart because they've allowed an invasion and they're afraid to stop it. Then he talks about bombing drug boats. I want you to listen closely to what he says at the end, because she does not.
Have you watched the
We're
video?
stopping. I watched everything. Yeah, I watch everything. I see a lot of things.
And do you believe that
It's
that
not
second
pretty,
strike was necessary?
Well, it looked like they were trying to turn back over the boat, but I don't get involved in that. That's up to them. The admiral that did that is a highly respected, as you know, a highly respected man. And we save 25,000 people every time we knock out a boat. On average, they kill 25,000 Americans. So, I don't like doing that, but the drugs coming in through the sea are down by 92%. And I'm trying to figure out the 8%. Who are they? Nobody wants to drive boats to America loaded up with drugs anymore.
Well, I do want to ask,
and we're going to hit them on land very soon, too.
We're going to hit them on land very soon, too. And she does not hear that. Nicolas Maduro, his days are numbered. And we're going to hit them on land soon. She doesn't hear it. This is your problem. You don't have listeners. He tells you everything, but they're so desperate to tell you something different that they never realize that they missed the whole story. Dasha Burns missed the whole story because she was so damn interested in whatever stupid notebook she had that she wanted to hit all these points. You know what? If you want to interview Donald Trump successfully, you go in with nothing. Go in with a question, one singular question, and then feed off of that, and then weave off of that. And he will tell you a story the same way Putin told Tucker Carlson for 3 hours. It might not be your timetable, but you will come away knowledgeable on fixing Europe. Listen closely to what he says here.
But he thinks the changes that you're making and what you laid out in your vision for Europe is what Moscow wants to see.
I have no vision for Europe. All I want to see is a strong Europe. Look, I have a vision for the United States, America first. It's make America great again. I do explain to Europe because I think, I'm supposed to be a very smart person. I have eyes, I have ears, I have knowledge, I have vast knowledge. I see what's happening. I get reports that you will never see. And I think it's horrible what's happening to Europe. I think it's endangering Europe as we know it. Europe could be a whole different place.
Your impact.
And I think the European people should do something about it.
And I think the European people should do something about it. Your leaders, therefore, are not going to be the ones who fix the problem. You have to rise up. This is no different than California. Your leaders in California who've been cheating and stealing and swindling and sanctuarying and all of the nonsense that goes with it for years have left you penniless, overtaxed, unhomed, right? Beaten, beleaguered, broke. What's it going to take to fix it? An uprising. Donald Trump says, I see, I hear, I know things. She doesn't hear that. She could listen to him and realize that he's about to take her somewhere, but she's so worried about trotting out that next question. Well, but I want to talk to you about this. Well, what do you say about blah, blah, blah? How would you rate your economy? How would you give it as a score? Come on, sister. We've graduated from freshman journalism class. Do you know who you're talking to? The linchpin of it all. And you're too much of a boob to shut your mouth and open your ears. Amazing. But there's one more I want you to hear. This is from Nicole Wallace when we come back. Kind of tells you everything you need to know and then some. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh, it's so frustrating. The greatest, most sincere sound you get from somebody is when you're interviewing them and there's a lull in the conversation and you don't fill it. You stay quiet. Because a lot of people don't like dead air. And so they'll fill it by telling you something you didn't expect. Almost always when I was on TV interviewing people, there was always silence, almost awkward. And the things people say, those are how I told my stories that won so many awards. It's not because I'm wow, she's awesome. I mean, I am, but it's people tell you things. If they find you engaging and trustworthy because you sit and you look and you listen and you respect, they'll give you the best interview they've ever given. Or you can go with your shot sheet and be more worried about making sure you get enough of your questions asked that you miss the actual fodder of your story. He won't be around for long. His days are numbered, he said about Maduro. We're going to be going in by land. She walked right by it. Okay. All right, you do you. Let me tell you about Dr. Simkovich. 412-366-3700. Concussions, such a leading cause. Falls are such a leading cause of death in senior citizens. Not only do you fall and commonly break a hip or something of that nature that then puts you into a facility where you get pneumonia or something else, and then the freaking ball of wax unravels, right? But it's also falling and hitting your head. And obviously this hits home to me because that's how my mom died. And so I say to you, if you have fallen, if you've been hurt, if your head has suffered and you know you're damaged, you're not dumb. You know you. Why wouldn't you call him? Simkovich Concussion Institute. It's not about surgery. It's not about hurting you. It's not about pain. It's about fixing a broken brain. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. 412-366-3700. When Brock and I met with Dr. Simkovich most recently, I walked away with Brock and I was like, I sure wish we all could have an evaluation from Dr. Simkovich every year.
Especially like your kids who play soccer.
Like if you could go in and have a full body MRI, I think that would be worthwhile of your yearly annual visit to your doc. And then maybe going and seeing Dr. Simkovich and having him feel around you and being like, did you get hurt? In fact, I did. Well, let's see if we can fix that. And things our kids don't even know about that they're hurt. Playing football, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, all of this stuff. 412-366-3700. It's just, he's one of those phone a friends. I will never lose his number. Ever. Just those 5 audio sound bites of President Trump. It was a 40-minute interview. The whole interview is easy to find online. I would encourage you to pay attention to it, to listen to it, because he tells you everything. There is no guesswork. You don't need the media when you have a transparent president who will answer questions of anywhere, of anyone, anywhere, anytime, usually about most things. He literally carves out the middleman and they're left like, now what? What do we do? So instead of actually paying attention to what he says and being honest about his intentions and honestly reporting his words, they twist with, whoa, anonymous sources, but we've heard, and blah, 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 and what about yacht? And you're like, you know what? I don't need your opinion. I don't trust your opinion. Nicole Wallace is losing her mind. They are so hot and bothered that President Trump is killing these narco-terrorists, that Pete Hegseth and co. are blowing up the boats because the boats are trafficking drugs to our country to kill our people, and she's okay with that. And so they go into the side and they put the eggs in the basket of the drug runners. Like, it's like, what? And I want you to hear how preposterous this is. She has Senator Chris Coons. You know Chris Coons. He was the one who said, oh, Joe Biden, he's great. He's running circles around everybody. He's seasoned. I'm like, you know what? I season my fries. I don't need my freaking president to be seasoned because he's got dementia. I want you to hear this ridiculous exchange because it's so dumb and it so perfectly exemplifies the liberal mind in the media and in Democrat Party. Listen.
When this story broke, when it burst into public view in the Washington Post report about the vessel being on fire from bow to stern, about 2 shipwrecked people, many of the military experts that have been on this program pointed us and our viewers to the Law of War Manual, which has as its specific example of the line in the Law of War Manual being shipwrecked people. Is there anything in the video that makes that not more any less stark? I mean, these seem like, from Democrats and Republicans who've seen the video, say for Tom Cotton, shipwrecked people.
It certainly seemed that way to me. But, Nicole, what matters here is less what you see in the video than the analysis, the assumptions. And that's all rooted in the policy decisions made to equate trafficking cocaine with attacking America.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. I usually don't like to be the one who makes you dumber, but now you are. Well, there's some nuance. It's hard to connect the dots between people who are running illegal drugs across the ocean en route to America and the deaths of people from those drugs. I mean, it's hard to connect those. I mean, that's like, that's wild. That's like watching Joe Biden wander away and being like, that's not a sign of mental collapse. And be like, oh, I'm cool with that. Chris, you suck so royally. And then when I hope they find out that you're connected to Venezuela, I don't know if you are, but boy, that would be so great. I'd love to watch you fry. Meanwhile, here's Senator Alyssa Slotkin. She's alleging now that the heat underneath her like beaker on the Bunsen burner is a full boil. Like, she's like, yeah, about that video we made, I better come up with a good reason about why I did it. Okay, here's her reason. Her reason is, well, a lot of people have been reaching out to us in the military about all sorts of stuff, but we can't give you any specific examples. So that's why we put out this video. Okay, good.
I mean, we made that video, 3 weeks ago or whatever it was. Certainly not thinking that the president would go high and right, as we say at the Pentagon, on it like that. But because there was so many people coming to us who were, on active duty, who were recent veterans, family members of service members, who were coming to us individually and saying 2 things. One, I'm concerned, I'm going to be sent in uniform to an American city, like LA, Chicago, Memphis. And I'm going to be asked to do things I either don't think are legal or I'm not trained for. And that's, what do I do? And then this fall, it really turned and it became a lot of people who were involved in the operations around the Caribbean asking those same things. Hey, I'm not sure that I don't know if this is legal. I don't know if I'd be held accountable later after this administration. I can't get a straight answer about whether this is legal or not. What do you think we should do? So we were hearing that. There's a lot of juju in the system on that for months. And so that's why we made the video, just restating the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Right. We just thought we were going to help out a little bit. Look, I've gotten so much interest in this. Everybody is so worried about all of the illegal orders that Donald Trump hasn't yet given. They're just freaking out. And they're coming to me and they're saying, Senator, you're the one I need advice from. The senator that nobody knows, nobody talks about, is irrelevant by and large until she makes a video. Got it. Okay, Alyssa. She suddenly claims Democrats made those illegal orders video because they were approached by concerned military members. Okay. God, that's a bad excuse, right? It's a water main break. Everybody hurry up, go home. We're putting up some plastic on the windows. It's just for precautions. Right. When we come back. Hour number 3. You got to ask yourself, why are Democrats so protective of criminal illegal aliens? Money, money, money. Next.
Right? Is Chris Coons
the dumbest person
did
ever?
I hear him say, I missed it the first time when I did the soundbite. Did he say it doesn't matter what you actually see in the video?
Yes, it's about something that's more esoteric. Yes. It's about the interpretation.
Oh.
That's what it is. Don't you know? Everybody
Doesn't matter what you. Everyone saw the same thing except for Tom Cotton, but it doesn't matter what you saw.
That's right.
Yeah.
Except that other guy who came out and was like, no, it was clearly drugs. We
Yeah.
could see it was clearly drugs. And you're like, no,
I
duh.
saw on X someone saying they were dropping lobster. What are those big wood crates called? Lobster
The traps.
Yeah.
They were dropping. Yeah.
I'm like, in the Caribbean.
That's what we're doing.
Now I might buy that if it was Maine, but the Caribbean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that a big?
Yeah. It's huge. That's where I go for my lobster.
Yeah. I don't know. What do I know?
I don't know. Right? I will just say that whole conversation.
That's your little heated. 326.
You guys are pretty awesome. Do I have a thing sticking out? Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna go with yes.
Okay. Here we go. I think I'm gonna grow out my hair. I know you guys are super interested in that.
I think you should grow out your mustache.
Do I have one? I don't think so. Do I? No.
I don't know.
I have shaved before though, and I cut myself right there, and I was like, ah.
Well, then why did you shave?
Because you get little peach fuzz. I get like jawline fuzz.
Beard. You're going trans.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a chick beard. I guess that's gross. It's more like
The bearded woman. You could, if this doesn't work out, you could go to the circus.
it's more like fuzz.
You could go to the
but
circus.
when you shut your pipe.
Bearded lady guessing
When you
weights.
go, they do microdermabrasion or planing. They take something that looks like just a, and they just go like that. And they shut up.
Wow. that's
Dr.
not very
Richard
nice.
Rafferty at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. He wouldn't make fun of me. See, he loves me. And he's smart.
Oh, apparently Demanda has a beard too.
Does she? I'm just saying, you just take care of it. Just not with your husband's Gillette. And then go, and I have a scar now. I legit have a scar. So the two most insulting scars I have is this from legit shaving with my husband's razor. And then this one, when I went like that, mimicking Harry Enton, and I got my fingernail, got too close to my face.
What about Murphy's?
No, and I have a scar right on my nose because of that. Hold on, I got to get rid of that. Boop. Okay.
Did Murphy take out your knee?
Yeah, but that's not a scar. I mean, like, yeah, I have a scar there, but I mean, on my freaking face.
Oh.
Dr. Richard Rafferty from the Disc Institute of watch this magic. From the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, he wants to fix you. He wants you to walk without pain. I know that was magic, right? Oh, it's magic. And he wants to help your discs grow back. Like, who knew? Wasn't on my bingo card when we met him, and I was like, what? So if things get out of whack, because they do, in fact, 4 out of 5 of us, I guess the studies show, will need some kind of a spinal expert in our lives. Well, you don't have to look very far, because I got a guy. And I've got a guy who has dedicated his professional career to you avoiding surgery, to you using therapy in 8, maybe 10 weeks, growing back, deteriorating, crumbling out of whack discs so that they're fluffy and soft and cushiony, and then you don't have pain anymore. And it's amazing. It's 98% successful, non-surgical. How do you do that? I have no idea. But I've talked to people while they were doing it. They're on their back and they're like, hey, how are you, Wendy? And I'm like, wow, you seem like you're very pleasant right now. I love this place, I say. I love Dr. Rafferty. I love this team. I would too. 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com.
I'm gonna have to talk to our guy at Rumble
Mm-hmm.
and see if we can get an Epilady sponsor.
That is a satanic machine invented by a man, and he should have been summarily thrown down the stairs. That is the most, so that was billed in the 1980s or 90s as being like this thing that my mom did. My mom used it on her legs, right? So you grow out your leg hair, which I think is disgusting, and then it rips it out from the follicle, from the follicle. And I was like, ah! And my mom's like, what? It bothers you? And I'm like, you're a psycho.
Well,
yes,
don't people
it
do
bothers
that
me.
black wax stuff now? It rips all that.
Black.
You ever see them? They put that. Yeah.
Black wax.
Yeah. Maybe it's not wax.
Ladies, demand to help me out here, right? Darius is like, how you doing?
How do you
I know,
get rid of
right?
your beard, Amanda, is what it's what she's asking.
I'm not a very hairy I have a lot of
It's a
hair,
grunt style
but I have a lot of
hoodie. It got emblems on the side.
I love that one. I love grunt style. Beach look is on. I shave my legs every day, I would say. Probably maybe once a week I don't. Not wax, just a peel mask.
Oh.
Yeah, you had that. It was painful. Yeah, no thanks. Brazilian wax? No. Who would do that? Who would do that?
Wait, is the Brazilian the hoo-ha?
Yes. And then the hoo-ha with the flip over peel.
Ooh, TMI.
That's what I'm saying.
TMI.
Who would do that? Hi, stranger. Look at my butt.
Here's my crotch. Take care of it.
Flip it over.
Flip it over. Spread them.
I mean,
Dano.
Gee whiz. No. How did we talk about this? Is your fault.
Spread them.
This is Brock's fault.
What? Because you're
I
hairy?
wore my
It's not my fault you're hairy.
5, 4,
Sasquatch.
2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of gold, truth, and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, I am very quick to admit what I do not know, and there is an awful lot in this world that I do not. But so many of the stories that Democrats refuse to answer questions about involve just basic common sense. And anybody paying attention can see exactly why people like J.B. Pritzker are trying so hard to keep immigration and custom enforcement agents out of Chicago. Kash Patel told us there are 110,000 gangbangers, illegal alien gangbangers in Chicago. I'm sorry? What? Is that possible? Is it maybe not just illegal alien, just in general, the criminal element is that pervasive? And so God forbid President Trump step forward and says, you know what, we can fix this. The people of Chicago should not feel like they can't walk outside. Kids should feel like they haven't, they don't have to stay indoors to avoid a drive-by or what have you. We're going to send in the National Guard. No. And of course, it's all under the guise that Trump is a terrible person, that he hates people who aren't white, yada, 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 whatever their reasoning is no. J.B. Pritzker and the Democrats are all baked into this multi-leveled scheme that at the end of the day all involves voters. Votes, ballots, stuffing the ballot boxes, right? That is what it's all about. You guys remember James O'Keefe when he was still with Project Veritas, his company that somebody shut down, of course, because he was a little too over the target. And he did an expose on the Somalian voter harvesting, ballot harvesting scheme in Minnesota by the people, run by the people, he found out, who work for Ilhan Omar to ensure that she continually wins re-election. And so basically the people who are put up in these Somalian apartment buildings or what have you in these village complexes, they get a knock on the door. It is an Ilhan Omar, according to Project Veritas, a minion who's like, hey, where's your ballot? Did you get your ballot? Need you to fill it out. Let's see how you fill it out. And they're like, okay, it's Ilhan Omar. And they're like, thank you very much. And then they give them $100 or whatever the case might be. And James O'Keefe had video inside a car of one of these Somalian guys working with Ilhan Omar, reportedly, driving all of these ballots to the drop box. Well, that is against the law. That is a federal crime. You're not allowed to do that. But they do. Now, why would J.B. Pritzker want to stop all of this criminal nonsense in Chicago specifically? He wouldn't, because he's all in on it. But he did something yesterday that I thought was intriguing. This is Breitbart.com. Headline, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signs bill preventing ICE from arresting illegal aliens near courthouses. Really? So we're going to go so far in the sanctuary city where 540 people were murdered last year, conservatively, right? We're going to prevent the cleanup of people who invaded our country, broke our law, and, oh yeah, by the way, are criminal in some way or form. Governor Pritzker wants to support them, protect them from ICE grabbing them and detaining them and then bouncing them back to whatever country they came from. Got it. Anti-America, America last. Pritzker signing of the bill comes after Illinois lawmakers passed the bill during the government shutdown. Curious thing to be focused on, right? Curious. According to the New York Times, under the bill, places like hospitals and daycare centers are restricted from sharing certain information with ICE agents. I mean, they tell you everything you need to know. I'm working with these criminal illegal aliens, whether it's by drugs or guns or ballots or Medicaid fraud or what have you. We're in with them, not you. And we're going to do everything we can to stop you from getting rid of these people. While the legislation's been praised by Democrat lawmakers in the state, Republicans in Illinois, including State Senator John Curran, have taken issue with the law's ban on civil immigration enforcement at state courthouses or within 1,000 feet of the courthouse. So you know that you broke the law coming here. And if you're going to court, you know that there is a legal action against you. And you know, as such, you face deportation, which you probably should have already been. And you know, of course, that Illinois officials, like judges, in fact, are preventing ICE from accessing these people. And so now J.B. Pritzker wants to take it a step further and basically bake it into law. During a press conference Tuesday for the signing of the bill, Pritzker proclaimed that the Chicago region has been subjected to a relentless campaign of cruelty. He doesn't say murder. He's not worried about all the black people who are getting killed in the inner cities, all the Hispanics, because that's by and large the people who suffer at the hands of Democrat-allowed crime. He's worried about cruelty. It's just so mean. I mean, think about it. These people, like, waiting there to
force the law and getting people who are criminal illegals out of our country is outrageous. We won't stand for it. Like, what? And this is the guy who's like, I should totally be president, right? I'm better than Gavin Newsom. Over the past few months, the Chicago region has been subjected to a relentless campaign of cruelty and intimidation and abuse at the hands of ICE and Border Patrol agents under the command of President Trump and endorsed by the Republican Congress. Pritzker said, our people have been forced to live in fear. Look, if you're living in fear, it's because you've done something wrong. Because you know who doesn't live in fear? People who don't do something wrong. I want you to hear this woman. She is Mary Miller. She is an Illinois representative in Congress. And she's like, wait, it's more than just signing this thing over. Pritzker and his ruination of this state. You're just starting to catch wind of this. Listen.
I'm on the House Agriculture Committee, and I fought very hard to ensure that illegals are not included in SNAP benefits. And now the state of Illinois, Governor Pritzker refuses to cooperate with the USDA and release the eligibility rolls for SNAP, and they're going to have their benefits cut off, and he can explain it to the citizens in Illinois. But American people have had it. They know that they've been abused, and they want what President Trump is trying to do, and that is transparency in the government and accountability.
Mary. There is not one single migrant here in Chicago or Illinois who's receiving not a single dollar. Well, of course they are. Why wouldn't you hand over your data? Because you're a sanctuary state, which says to people, come in. We've got great goodies for you. As long as you vote Democrat, we'll protect you and allow you to be a dirtbag, right? And so he won't give over the SNAP benefit data. Clearly, because it's just packed with people who should not be getting our money. Duh. Right? And she continues, and this is good. What are Pritzker and Democrats trying to hide? That's a great question. Let's go.
We're a destination state for every rotten thing. Obviously, we're for illegals to come here and sign up for every single kind of benefit. We've spent billions of dollars that we don't have on the health care for illegals, and I'm certain that they're all signed up for SNAP benefits as well. And this is all about elections. It's about getting their votes.
100% great replacement. It is not complicated. Now, we have this gentleman is in his car, and he's speaking of numbers, and he says, remember back in 2021 when the executive director of the UN World Food Program said that Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, if he just gave 2% of his worth, he could solve world hunger? What about that? Listen to this.
I thought the number was $6 billion. Weren't we told that Elon Musk, if he just gave $6 billion, could solve the hunger crisis? And he said, show me an itemized list and I will cut you a check. And they never sent him one. Well, now we know why. Because the governor of Illinois, Mr. Pritzker, he just did an interview in which he said the SNAP benefits alone just for Illinois is $90 million a week. That's $360 million a month. That's $4.4 billion in a single year just for Illinois. So again, where did y'all come up with the $6 billion mark? And why is it a private citizen's job to fund that? Why isn't then Pritzker funding it in his own state? Because he and his family are billionaires as well. See, you guys are bitching and moaning and crying about a privately funded ballroom that wouldn't even take care of the SNAP benefits in Illinois for one single month.
Bingo. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. $4.4 billion just for Illinois. Do you really think all that money is going to American citizens? Right. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Rand Paul, Benny Johnson has him on his podcast. And it's a very interesting conversation.
He may sue you for defamation.
He says, don't call me the walrus. This is a very interesting conversation. It has to do with Fauci.
Don't miss what Rand Paul says next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Mm-hmm. Probably right.
And I'd probably be a witness to it.
I have not done Healthy Cell. I got a box from Healthy Cell yesterday. It's on. It's on. The new formula. I don't know who's calling me, but I'm not talking to you. The new formula that they're going to be floating. I cannot wait to drop it on you when they give me the go-ahead. I think it is extraordinarily visionary and particularly useful for women like me. What is it? Well, we'll find out. But I will tell you, healthycell.com/Wendy. Healthycell.com/Wendy. I take not a single prescription medication. I take what? Blood flow. I drink Dr. Gundry, and I take Focus and Recall. And I might start taking this other thing that they're going to be dropping. It is a micro gel pack of your favorite supplements, whether it's for your hair, your skin, and your nails, whether it's for your circulation, whether it's for your blood sugar or your blood pressure, whether it's for your cardiovascular health. How about for your brain fog, maybe for your stress and anxiety? How about for your immune system? All of these things. There is a Healthy Cell formula for that, including this one, which is the REM sleep, which Brock, I think, uses. Do you use most nights?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
How has it changed your life?
I sleep through the night. And when I do get up to go to the bathroom, I fall right back asleep.
He sleeps through the night. One of the things I remember about Brock early on when we were working together is he really struggled with significant, restful, meaningful sleep. I don't think either one of us probably gets enough, but when it's restful sleep, when you wake up and you're not like, that is Healthy Cell. Don't take supplements and pills over the age of 50 per se because of the stomach acids that we've learned that kind of wane and aren't as strong to break down pills and capsules and tablets. The microgel gets it into you so much more quickly, and it's 165% more absorbed by the body. That's the special secret of Healthy Cell. And again, I know I show you this every day, but for people who are new, this is it. It's like a little packet. Each one is delicious. This one is cherry. They're all yummy, right? You're not like when you take NyQuil because you're like, I just gotta sleep. And you're like, ugh. It's like taking a shot of Jaeger. Not this. This is really good. Healthycell.com/Wendy. There's a great coupon there for you. Try it. It completely will change what you think about in terms of your supplements and maybe even encourage you and nudge you off of some of your prescriptions. I'd be very interested if I took blood sugar or if I was on certain medications for that sort of stuff.
Maybe that's what I should start taking.
Getting off of that. Which part?
The blood sugar one.
Mm-hmm.
The stabilizer one.
Yeah.
You gave it away.
I gave it away?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I gave it to Maureen. I wonder if it worked for her. I have to Jen Pisake back on that. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Worth it. Every day and twice on Sunday. 100%.
Twice.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul. I don't understand all of his motivations, and I don't think it's realistic per se for us to believe that people who are Republican or conservative should share every single view that we have. But I got to be honest with you, I'm pretty much in lockstep with Donald Trump. I don't remember him having a policy objective that he was able to explain. and weave around and drop on us that I was like, yeah, I don't really think so. I don't know. Right? We could take umbrage perhaps with Operation Warp Speed because we know what we were really getting. We were getting a fast track to something dangerous for a lot of people. President Trump, I don't believe, knew any of that. I don't believe he would have been a part of that at all had he known the details about that virus, about the gain-of-function research. Had he known about EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak. Had he known about the Wuhan Institute of Virology and Zhijing Li, or whatever the hell her name is, the Bat Lady. I don't care who she is. I mean, in what world do the American scientists working for the federal government collaborate with the Communist Chinese Party? Like, make that make sense to me. I don't see how that's, I don't see how you do that. It's like going to business with the Taliban. You're like, all right, so here's what we're going to do. Right? No, I don't think so. Rand Paul, though, on Benny Johnson's podcast yesterday, said something very interesting about Tony Fauci. And Benny's asking him, like, all right, so these auto pen pardons, Fauci is at risk. You guys have asked him to come in and to testify. How is that process going? This is the maddening, stagnant, running through oatmeal, piecemeal progress, garbage that most of us hate about the government. Go.
Please, an update on Dr. Fauci. We saw him at Dick Cheney's funeral, which I'm sure was a shocker to you, Senator.
But he and Rachel Maddow at the Dick Cheney funeral. Who would have ever guessed, you know? No, we have sent requests for the last 6 months to him to get information. He is cooperating. We are looking at phone records and emails. We haven't gotten everything we want, but he's still cooperating. As long as he's cooperating, we're trying to negotiate a time for him to come in for testimony. He hasn't agreed to that. And we're going to see in the next couple of weeks whether he agrees to testify or whether he has to be subpoenaed. Now, people say, why don't you just subpoena him? Because what happens if you subpoena people and they resist, you then go to court and you don't always win, or it's a long, drawn out, years-long battle to try to get people to come in. So if we can get him to come in voluntarily, that's what we're hoping for. We do know from our research of what we have done that he has email exchanges between him and Francis Collins where they talk about deleting these messages. Read this message and delete it. That's illegal. That's against the law. If you work in the executive branch, you cannot delete any email concerning government business. So we have that, and that I think is enough to be of concern and enough for the authorities to look into. We have recommended to the Department of Justice they do something about it. Now, online, you'll see all these, idiot paid influencers who are attacking me saying, oh, yeah, you said you'd get Fauci. How come you're not doing anything about Fauci? Well, it's because I'm not a prosecutor and I have no power to indict him. I have the power to investigate, and we have been. We've found evidence. We also think he lied over the idea of funding gain-of-function research in China. That's also a crime to lie to Congress. And for these lies, for these crimes, he has been referred to the group that has the power. We did 2 referral letters under Biden to the Department of Justice, and we received no action. And we've done 1 under the Trump Department of Justice, and we haven't seen any action. That doesn't mean they're not trying. All I can say is I don't have the power, and people have to understand I'm doing the best I can. The investigation continues, but I don't have the power to actually indict anyone because I'm not a prosecutor.
Doesn't that feel like it's not enough? I'm doing the best I can. I don't feel like that's enough. So you're not allowed to delete emails if you're part of the executive branch. If you're part of government, you're not allowed to delete your emails. Well, what if you smash them with a hammer? Can you do that? Can you do that? Can you rip that server out of the wall in your basement? Can you do that? Should you probably get a ghost phone or maybe some pseudonyms, maybe some shell companies, maybe some family members to help with you with the fraud and all? Maybe, yeah. That is why nothing gets done. It's just always that way. Yeah, it's just kind of how it works. Until somebody comes in with a grenade and pulls the pin. And that person's Donald Trump. When we come back, look, it's very simple. Enough is enough. Trump is remaking the federal government because we told him yes. Oh boy. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Let's see how you guys are doing. I've missed checking 3.44. Okay. You know, to be honest with you,
If
you
we
do
get
a
the
really
3.5 by 11:33, I think you should show the alien baby picture.
Nobody cares.
By the time I get back from the bathroom.
Nobody cares. You guys don't care. It's just obscene. It's just an obscene, grotesque, giant 2 babies in my tummy. And it looks ridiculous. And I'm not so sure you guys care. Right? Mm.
69 million individuals throughout the world sustain a traumatic brain injury each year. If you are one of these individuals living life with the symptoms of post-concussion syndrome, Simkovich can...
But we do care. No, you don't. Demanda, no, you don't. Do I know Al Frank from St. Louis? The name sounds extraordinarily familiar to me. Yes. Post. Look at you, Don Parcel. Listen to you. Yes, we care. No, you really don't. Post. Okay. Well, if we get there, 355. You're not there. You got 90 people to go. So, Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Hey, get them out to your house. This is a great time to consider new windows. I mean, it's never a good time to consider new windows. But if you could get all whole house, brand new windows from Ireland Contracting and work out a deal, and they have got wonderful payment plans and things of that nature. They work with everybody. They do the greatest job, and they stand behind the work they do. And you know what I like about them? They don't tag on your zip code surcharge. So if you live in a nicer area, they're not like, well, it's normally $4, but we're going to charge you $7. It's not how it works. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Home exterior remodeling, roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, downspouts, windows, sun tunnels, skylights, outdoor electrical work with Dan, all of it. My jewelry is done. I'm going to swing by and get it on my way home. My mom's ring. I'm naked. I have ugly hands. I've smashed my fingers. I don't do fingernail polish. So I feel naked without it. At least when I have it, people look at that, not my ugly hands. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I don't think they're going to hit it.
We have a minute and a half.
Years. It's really quite disturbing.
No, they're not going to hit it.
No. I'll share this one, though, which is so cute. The Three Amigos.
Look at Christopher with his helmet.
Oh my gosh. Look at that. So we're finding out about college. I think Clemson tells us tomorrow. Notre Dame drops on the 16th. God, I hope Chris gets in there. He's worked so hard.
16th? I thought it was the 13th.
It's the 16th. 13th?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said it was Saturday.
No, it's the 16th.
Because he had some kind of bowling.
Yes. Yes. They were
3-5. 11:32:48. Here comes alien babies.
All right, Ryan is literally taking shelter underneath my huge, disgusting, well, it's not disgusting, it's babies.
Torpedo belly. Look at that. Jeez.
Look at that. Is that the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen?
It looks like aliens.
No, this is worse. I'm sorry. It's really not becoming. Hold on.
How many months is that?
7.
2? Oh.
Oh my God. 7. No. And
Was that the donut hole time?
They were 8 weeks early. And they were tiny. Tiny. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Bubba. How itty bitty that little foot is. 3 pounds and 4 pounds.
Not anymore.
He's a so anyway, that's scary. Yeah. Right? It was, people were like,
Was that when you were sucking down donut holes, or was that Michael?
no, I had learned my lesson that munchkins are still donuts, especially if you eat 25 of them. I was like,
Yeah, it went from 30 to 25.
Oh my God. I got up to a size 12. And then I had my very sexually dubious hairstyle. Mm-hmm.
The L cut.
Well, and then I had
L cut.
chunky face. I was chunky. I was a size 12. And then Joe and I had to go to some event. And I'm like, really? And I have to wear a freaking gown? Terrible.
Was that before or after Spanx?
Oh, Spanx wouldn't have done a dang thing for that. There's no Spanx and 2 babies away.
5 pounds of potato salad in a 1
I
pound
still
bag.
have them. I still lug it around. Come on. I got 2 articles, and I'm kind of on the fence about these 2 articles because I really like them both. One is super left-leaning. It's from Politico, and it's talking about lamenting the fact that Donald Trump has this plan to basically shatter the bureaucracy and reshape the federal government in his own image, which, according to everybody who's paying attention, is what we voted for. I mean, isn't that what draining the swamp is all about? I mean, when you voted for President Trump, didn't you vote for that? That was back in 2016. Drain the swamp, lock her up, drain the swamp, right? It's not like it's this new thing that the uniparty deep state of suck works to protect itself and run interference for one another so that the grift can continue in perpetuity. Until Donald Trump came down the escalator, was like, no, you're doing a poor job. You haven't read my book, The Art of the Deal. And part of the art of the deal is it's of course leverage, but you have to actually care. Before President Trump sat down with Dasha Burns for that Politico interview on how he's Europe's most important influencer, whatever, he did his homework on her. He knew in the interview that Dasha Burns is from Ukraine. He knew where in Ukraine she was from. This is the president of the United States who's trying to solve a war. He's trying to end that war in Ukraine. He's trying to bring in already $17 trillion worth of investment into this country. He's trying to neutralize the cartels, expose the Maduro regime's influence on our people, on our congressmen and women. He's trying to fix the election system so 2020 doesn't happen again, right? He's got people at DHS, Homeland Service is doing what they're doing, HHS, trying to figure out why so dang many people have autism. And he has the time to do a dive on Dasha Burns. That is called nuance. That arms him. He's prepared. He's not walking into an interview blind. He knows who he's talking to. And I bet you when he phoned into this program, I bet you he had done a dive on me as well.
I bet you his people, probably not him, but I bet you his people had gone back and reviewed several of my shows. I bet you they did whatever kind of a follow they could on my background, on how many kids I have, what I do, what happened, this and that. They don't just sit down. They don't do random. They don't go rogue. In a deal, that's super alluring. To know that the guy who's negotiating with you, it's alluring and it's alarming. He knows stuff. He's prepared. This isn't going to be some gloss over deal. Politico wrote an article yesterday about Trump's plans to basically reshape the government. That's what we voted for. And I was going to read you a chunk of that, but I'm going to pivot. Because Victor Davis Hanson, again, has knocked it out of the park. And this is where today's show title came from. This whole idea that enough is enough. That the goodness and the kindness of the American people has been trampled and it's over. And yes, we were unaware for a long time. And shame on us. But each of us snapped out of it at some point. And now we are no longer clueless. We are done. And this is what Victor Davis Hanson writes, guest post in the New York Post, and this is the title. He says, citizens are fed up with Dem-invited migrants who have disdain for U.S. law and culture. It's hard now even for Democrats to defend illegal immigration, given that the Biden administration allowed in more than 10 million entrants. Donald Trump said yesterday to Dasha Burns, 25 million. Or he said it in the rally in Pennsylvania. 25 million. That's staggering. Among them were an estimated 500,000 criminals. No one believes that was wise or it should ever be repeated. Worse, the message went out loud and clear that there would be few, if any, deportations and no real ICE kinetic activity beyond the border. This is what J.B. Pritzker just signed into law yesterday. The world's poor and the sick, the both law-abiding and criminal, young and old, understood that anybody could now enter the United States at will. Deterrence and legality were lost. In its place, the message went out that it was permissible to cross the border unlawfully then. By extension, it would be seen as equally fine to reside illegally and perhaps further to ignore laws on the theory that the host had sanctioned all such exemptions. We're not enforcing the border. It's a freaking free-for-all. Come on in and bring everybody, including your Aunt Sally. During the lockdown hysteria, this is during COVID, Victor Davis Hanson writes, some 8,000 to 8,500 U.S. soldiers were expelled from the military for refusing the experimental mRNA vaccine. State employees nationwide were being fired for refusing the government vaccines. Nevertheless, illegal aliens would have no such mandates or worries. They simply walked in without stress over vaccinations and current COVID status and surmised correctly that illegal aliens were part of a Biden administration protected and privileged category. Exactly right. Indeed. Between 2021 and 2025, in one of the most bizarre episodes in U.S. immigration history, the border simply disappeared. There were no background checks, no health audits, no identification of the greatest influx in any 4-year period in American history. No one knew why. All had their explanations. Was the Biden handlers' plan for more poor to grow the welfare state and expand liberal government? Was it misplaced idealism to welcome in millions of the world's poorest, who would soon make it even more difficult for the nation's poor citizens to find affordable housing and health care? Was the agenda to create future dependencies and constituencies for an otherwise ossified Democratic Party? Or was it an effort to ensure, in DEI terms, that the oppressed and the victimized would outgrow the inert white oppressors and victimizers Oddest of all has been the attitude of the left toward the past destruction of the border. They went mum about the rampant illegality at the border. It disappeared as millions filtered through the nation. Americans had no idea who the newcomers were or even where or why they were here. Given that it is much easier to destroy the border and allow millions to enter than it is to restore it and find the millions who entered illegally, the Democrats' response has been Orwellian. After assuming the law did not apply to illegal alien entrants, they now insist its full force must apply to each of 10 million, 25 million illegal aliens before they can be sent home. It's a fascinating point, isn't it? There were no protests when an I hate when they do this. Then, of course, an ad pops up, and I was there. Okay, here we go. The result of such massive nullification of immigration law has been that the nation's outrage over illegal immigration has extended now to legal migration as well. At the current levels of frustration, all legal immigration will likely soon be put on hold. Why? Well, we're currently in a great experiment. Never has the U.S. foreign-born resident population approached 50 million to 55 million, or 16% of our population. It is now. Number two, never has the once time-tried melting pot creed of assimilation, integration, and acculturation been under greater assault and ridicule, just when it's needed most. And he goes on to say, you have now ticked off the majority of the people who are tired of being told they're bad. The greatest place on planet Earth, where you and I work hard. We do. And we don't usually hate one another, but we've been forced to. Because there are those who refuse to see what has been done to this country, and there are those who see it so clearly, it haunts them when they're awake. And so when Politico wants to write an article saying, boo-hoo, the Supreme Court is allowing Donald Trump to reimagine the federal government in his own likeness, should we not say yes? And that's exactly what we voted for. Yes, that's why he won all 7 swing states. Yes, that is why he trounced Kamala Harris. And yes, that is why, quite frankly, we're not surprised. He had to win in such an outrageous fashion to counteract the ridiculous cheating that they were still perpetuating, especially in California, where the votes were still being counted months later. Enough. And so we're going to get to this place where nobody's going to be allowed in again. Not your grandma from Denmark, not your friend from Spain, nobody, nada. Because America needs to heal. People need to be found and sent home. Those who stole from us must be punished to the fullest extent. And the Democrats and the Republicans who allowed it to happen while getting rich need to have the same fate in their World Book Encyclopedia as Joe Biden. Disgraced. Matt Walsh from Daily Wire drops the greatest analogy on the whole illegal immigration thing. He does it in like 3 minutes. It's the greatest example. We're going to leave you with that next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Here's a pop-up ad while you're reading. Hi. Just put your email address in here so we can give you, I have 7,000 emails in one of my email accounts. Did it get really cold over there? Yeah. Okay. But Victor Davis Hanson is correct 100%. You expected us to be blind about their entry. Well, you know what? You better be blind then about their removal. Because sadly, it's all costing you and me. We pay for all of it. All of the buses, all of the flights, all of the everything. And the jackasses in your neighborhood who voted for Joe Biden, riding with Biden, right? Who were like, Kamala, she's the best.
You can walk by with a double bird and be like, you did that. You did that. You're bitching about your water bill, complaining about your property taxes. Suck it. Other than that, I got nothing. How's everybody? Oh, I got a bank shot off of the BS board. That's special.
It's luck.
Mm-hmm. I am so excited to get my mom's ring. And I hope they got the nail polish.
I was going to say, I'm curious to see what it looks like.
Me too. Me too. I'll do that before Mary Beth's. A happy belated birthday to our mutual friend, Diane. I hope she had a wonderful birthday. I didn't talk to her. What?
What?
What? What do you mean, no?
So I hope she had a wonderful birthday. I said, no. She peppers me every day
with what?
Birthday week.
Oh, is that what she's saying?
Stupid. That mentality for you ladies out there, because it's usually the ladies that do it. Birthday weekends, birthday weeks,
it is women. Women are weird. I don't know what's up with you girls. Like, why? Why are we doing that? Or people have to tell you it's their birthday. And you're like, happy birthday. And then they have to feel stupid. Right? Today's my birthday. I don't understand that. Right? I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't tell people.
Neither do I.
I don't tell people. But you people ruin that for me. You people.
You people.
Let's see. Can we end with 3 seconds? Jesus.
I know. It just kicked on again.
Holy schmoly. It's so cold. All right. Let's see what we got. 6,600 hanging in there, guys. All right. 359. I would be at 377. I mean, I know it feels like it's never enough.
Birthday weeks?
No.
They aren't real men then.
No. No, I agree with you. That's a little. Yeah, I don't know. Stag says, I'm a second-hand vegetarian. Cows eat grass. I eat cows. I agree. See? It's not complicated.
Yeah, how many people don't celebrate? Like, if it's up to me, you wouldn't even know. I didn't really do anything. My mom did all the work.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we end up hating Christmas sometimes, because it's just a lot of work and a lot of scorekeeping. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just my house. It was interesting. The scorekeeper is the one who's most excited now about.
You know what I want for Christmas every year?
World peace.
Stay home, do nothing. Nothing. Like, take my day off and veg out.
Because you have a strenuous life otherwise?
Well, I only get so many days off.
Whose fault is that, Honeybug?
So
video program, I will say it is a short list. And on my favorite people who do podcasts or who host programs, Matt Walsh is top 3. He's just got this great kind of dad, no nonsense, call it like it is, kind of like Trump, quiet piggy. Like, I don't care. If he calls you piggy, it's because you're obviously behaving in a manner that deserves to be called out. Like, whatever. Matt Walsh calls out the whole scourge of illegal immigration. And he's like, look, it's sort of akin to this. And he creates this great analogy that I think it speaks volumes to the insanity of what we've gone through. Listen.
Here's an idea. If you're an African asylum seeker, seek asylum in an African country. If you're an Arab asylum seeker, seek asylum in an Arab country. If you're an Asian asylum seeker, seek asylum in an Asian country. Let them find asylum in a country with a similar culture. How about that? When people say we got to bring in the asylum seekers, and then we say no, The response is, oh, what are these people going to do? Well, they're all going to die. Well, number one, how's that my problem? Number two, what, do all the other countries in the world not exist? What do you mean? There's all these other countries. Why not put some of the onus on them? How is it all the onus on us and 0% of the onus is on anyone else? How does that make sense? And guess what? If none of those other countries will take them in, well, that's all the more reason why we shouldn't either. Like, if any country has a moral obligation to accept Arab asylum seekers, it's an Arab country. And if any country has a moral obligation to accept African asylum seekers, it's an African country. And if they won't do it, if they're looking at these people and saying, we don't want them here, well, then that makes me go, that's all the more reason why, well, I don't want them either. So if your answer is, well, they can't get asylum anywhere, no other country will take them, well, then I don't want them. Why the hell do we want them?
100%. Well, you can't say that. Yes, you can. Not only can you, you must. This is why Trump says Europe is going to collapse. France and Germany, the UK, you have people walking around as though they're, where's my butler, right? No. See, your people are suffering and you think it's off color to call it out. Yo, we got way too many Muslims. They're ruining our country. Why can't you say that? Well, that's why the liberals need to use emotion. They always have to bring in feelings because factually looking at what they propose, you would say that's what a stupid person would do. And then they say, oh, and then they bring in some emotional thing and they con people because people don't want to be called racist or haters or discriminatory or exclusionary or ableist or ageist or fill in whatever stupid word the Democrats have told you. But this is the part of the analogy that makes perfect sense. Listen.
Imagine if somebody from a neighborhood 20 miles away were to come knocking on your door. You never met this person, have no idea who they are. They're not from your town, never met them. They knock on your door explaining that they've run out of food and they're unemployed and they need you to give them food. They're not asking, right? They're not asking. This is not even like someone coming and we're not talking about widows and orphans. We're talking about like a guy. It's like a 19-year-old guy from a town 21 miles over. Right? He just shows up at your door, knocks on the door. Maybe he doesn't even knock. I mean, for the analogy to really work, he just opens the door. He opens the door and shouts and says, hey, I need some food. I'm hungry. Hey, I'm hungry. I need food. No request, no humility, nothing like that. Just a demand. Now, you'd probably tell them to piss off right away. Like, there's not going to be any conversation. It's like, no, get the hell off my property. You're going to pull out a gun and say, get off of my property right now. But I'm hungry. I need food. Okay, go get food somewhere else. Get the hell. I don't know you. Okay? You're not my kid. I'm feeding my kid lunch right now. You're not my child. Get the hell out of my house. But if you did get into any conversation with them, which is more than you're obligated, the first thing you're going to ask is, who are you? And where are you from? And why are you coming here exactly?
Bingo. And the worst part, perhaps, is the moment that snapped me out was when those two New York police officers were jumped by the illegal migrants, right? And they kicked them and they punched them and they pummeled them and they got bounced from jail. The illegals did in like an hour. Because that's the way our system in sanctuary cities works. You can do whatever you want to whomever you want and get away with it. And the guy walked out to the cameras, walked right past them as he exited the jail, and he flipped the camera his middle finger. Really, Pablo? Is that what you think? I know President Trump saw that too. Thanks for being a part of the Wendy Bell radio program. Love having you. Hope you come back tomorrow. Thank you for being part of our family. Peace.